Hello everyone, and welcome back to our Longplay world, Bloom Valley, where we're building up a beautiful base in a flower forest mountain crater with a lake. In today's episode, we're going to be building up something that is so needed in this world, but before we get into that, I just want to welcome you all back to the series since it's been quite a while since I last recorded. But we are back, and just to refresh your memory, the last thing we did in this world was build up this adorable pink mini mob farm cottage. It also sits on top of our XP farm, but if we go inside, we have a bunch of these mini mob farms, as I mentioned, and they've got a bunch of loot producing into these barrels. And this is all completely passive, but if we go upstairs, before I started recording, I got 2 new mob cards. So we have a blaze card, which hasn't produced anything yet, unfortunately. And then I was lucky enough to get a wither skeleton card as well, and we've got a couple of bones from there. Now, I have added this sword enhancement because it generates loot as if it was killed by a player, so I think that means we can get wither skulls from this thing. If we ever wanted a beacon, that would be kind of nice, but I don't think we're going to need that. I don't think we want that stress in this cozy world. This is all going to be just so helpful for us in the future as we continue to decorate and everything, but if we go downstairs, I actually did do a live stream where I decorated in here, and as you guys might remember me saying in the last episode, I did change that top bit in there so it matches outside of the spawner area. But yeah, it's honestly very simple decorations. It was just a little bit to make this area a little bit more cozy. And of course we had to add some sofas so we can wait for the zombies to spawn, which is always kind of nice. Get off your feet every once in a while. And if we just go upstairs, why is this not letting me go up? There we go. That is kind of embarrassing how much I was struggling with that. Okay, moving on. I had a plan for today's episode, but I'm kind of throwing that plan to the wind. And instead we're going to be building up a new storage building. And there's a couple of reasons for this. In between episodes, I've been back and forth to the nether, gathering stuff for the mob farms, gathering stuff from the mob farms, and well, this is not the right backpack. That's actually my main backpack, but I was going to talk about a different one. But I have a second capture card as well for the wither skeletons, and I didn't even kill that many. I'm pretty sure I only killed like 8 or something. Let's see. Yeah, 8 wither skeletons, and I got 2 capture cards, which is pretty cool. Definitely think that I got pretty lucky on that one. And now if I'm lucky enough, then they'll just farm a bunch of wither heads for me in case I do need a beacon, and I won't have to kill any more than 8. Anyways, so in my inventory, which is kind of a mess right now, I have a bunch of stuff that's like we're gonna worry about and is unrelated and we'll do later, but I've been gathering up a bunch of backpacks, and I have a couple over here that are just for like general looting purposes, and then I have some other ones that are very specific that have a bunch of different items inside of them. But my idea was to kind of have some of these items like dirt and moss and flowers and like our pathway blocks and stuff on my person at all times, especially wood as well. That way we can use them and access them a little bit more easily on the run, just in case we need a little bit and bob here and there. And originally I was kind of putting stuff in backpacks on the walls because my original storage room is almost completely full. And we could just add a couple more chests in there, but I only have room for a couple, so I think it makes more sense to make a dedicated storage area. My only question is, where are we actually going to put this thing? There's still so much space left to use in the valley, but I kind of want this in a centralized location. That way it's kind of easy to get to no matter where I am. So I feel like it makes the most sense to kind of keep our search centralized into the middle of the valley. Well, the actual middle of the valley is the lake, so around the lake somewhere. And I think actually, wait, looking at this might be a good spot if we did a little bit of terraforming over there. Because it does kind of go back into the mountain, which would give us a bunch of space to like dig out if we ever needed to. So it's kind of easy to expand, which is a plus in our direction. And like I said, there's a bunch of space over there on that hill that's kind of like into the mountain. We wouldn't really have to worry about running out of space in a situation like that, which is kind of what happened with me in our starter house. I'm just out of space in there. So we just kind of have to figure out what kind of build we're going to make. And if we look at this in a more head-on direction, like right over there where that kind of hole is, we can flatten off some of the face of that hill over there and kind of like smooth it out a little bit. We could make some kind of build that blends in with the terrain a little bit. Like maybe a Hobbit hole would be good. Yeah, you know, I think I like that idea. That's kind of cool. I think that will be our plan today, but before we get into that, in between episodes on a live stream up here, we have actually worked on a horse stable. So before we get to the horse stable side, on the other side, it's just some flowers right now, but I was thinking about putting a pond down here because we do have that natural kind of waterfall going from up there. I feel like that could look really cute over here. And then over on the other side, we made just a really simple little horse stable for all of our horses. So we have Iris, we've got Elder Bloom, we've got Lily Pad, and then we have a fourth horse over here that I picked up on a different live stream that we've got to name still. I have a name idea in mind for this horse, but I haven't truly decided if I want that to be the horse's name. So if I do decide to go with that name while we're building today, we will name them at the end of the episode. But let's go ahead actually and grab this horse because this horse is pretty fast. They are quite speedy. With our new horse, we can go off to adventure in a very fast pace, but before we do that, I just want to give a moment of appreciation to this little horse stable. I wasn't really convinced of the location until we got the actual horse stable up, but I'm glad that we put it there. It looks so good there. But let's go ahead here. We're going to curve around past the starter house and go over to that location that we were looking at from across by the barn. And I haven't really made much progress over here in terms of like smoothing the land out and stuff because I wanted it to kind of go with what we ended up putting here when we were building. So this is kind of, oh my gosh, this is such a mess right now. Normally I start every episode with kind of like a clean backpack and it gets messier over time. And I think this episode is just the opposite, the absolute opposite. But we're going to just take some of these trees out really quick so we can get through here easier. I wonder if there is a cure in Minecraft to having too many items, too little space, and too messy of a backpack, but that is why they call it Frogcrafting Backpack Syndrome, and for the small price of just watching this video for free, you will be contributing to curing this Frogcrafting Backpack Syndrome into the research, you know? I cannot take myself seriously, actually. But I am my own target audience because no one makes me laugh like I do, and if you can laugh at yourself at the end of the day, I feel like that's a pretty good thing, right? Like, that's what it's all about. Alright, I think the rest of this is pretty doable, and those leaves should decay so that we can kind of ride back and forth with no problems. The rest of this, though, is a little bit uneven and kind of a mess if I'm being 100% honest, so we will definitely have to fix that up at some point. Oh, and that reminds me, there's another thing that I did, which was actually to dig a tunnel through the mountain, like all the way. Let me show you on the map. So it comes out over here where this like stone bit is, and it's basically just a straight tunnel all the way from where we are, all the way out there. And like I said, it comes out right over here, and I used this to actually go get some villagers from a village that we found in episode 1. And if we free cam really quick, we can head over. I've got them underneath my starter house in the side of the hill here, and I have them just trapped in a boat for now because I do need to get mending at some point because my tools are starting to look a little bit sketchy. I definitely don't want to have too many villagers, but as you can see from my tools right here, they are starting to look a little bit rough. Even the tools I have, like my Silk Touch one and my backpack and stuff, they are all starting to get a little bit low, except for my Fortune one. But for all of my tools and my armor, eventually I'd like to have mending so I don't have to worry about that, because I don't know how many episodes we're going to have in this world still. But yeah, that's what this whole tunnel is for. This also should help us if we want to bring any like animals and stuff. I saw some turkeys and stuff in the wild that we could bring over. But yeah, let's go ahead and hitch up our horse and we're going to start clearing out this area slowly. So let's just start here with a tree. But you know, actually, I don't know exactly what level the Hobbit hole is going to go on. So I kind of want to figure that out before I take anything else down. We were talking about kind of like a big hole. Yeah, right over here. This is kind of a cute spot, honestly. And if we trim some of this mountain back to make it like a little bit more flat, we could probably fit a pretty decent sized Hobbit hole in the front of this. The other plus to this is that it kind of does give us a little bit of opening that we don't have to mine out ourselves later. So let's go ahead and go in here with some torches so we can light this up. Because we are going to be working in this area a lot. I don't want anything coming out of these caves and kind of just, you know, absolutely attacking us like that zombie villager right there. But actually, we could save this zombie villager and cure them now that we've been to the Nether. But I don't know. There's like a light out there. Do I want to like try to trap him in here? You know, I'm just going to put the boat down. Stay here for right now because I will be back. We'll move this zombie villager later. I was not anticipating that, but I don't know if it's too light out to put them somewhere else yet. I also have absolutely no idea where I'm going to put this zombie villager. This was not something that I expected to deal with right now, and it's kind of just shows how funny Minecraft can be because you can just be, you know, doing something and then something else happens and it completely derails the task that you were trying to do. But anyways, let's try to focus on the task at hand. So the task at hand is lighting up this cave because I don't want any monsters spawning on us while we are trying to work on this project. I think there's quite a range that mobs can spawn. I don't 100% know all of the numbers. I think it's somewhere between like 30 and 128 blocks that mobs can spawn around the player. So we do need to light quite a bit of this up just to make sure that nothing comes from in here. And wait a second. Was that like a whole granite patch I saw back here? Yes, it was. Okay, we are going to spend a second here to get some granite because I desperately am going to want to use this today. Kind of another perfect example about how things can go off the written path when you have an idea in mind, like I'm going to light up this cave, but wait, I have to mine up all this granite first. But I hope this video finds everyone well. It has been quite a while since I last recorded in this world, besides the last little bit of the last video. And I think before that, the last time I recorded was in July or something. It was quite a while ago anyways, so I apologize for how long I was away. I was kind of focusing on trying to level out my balance for work-life stuff and also like my studies and all that stuff. But I think I finally found a little bit of a schedule that's going to work for myself. I feel a little bit more confident in my studies. I have a really good base right now. I'm not as far along as I hoped I would be in like, 6 months or so, however long it's been. But, I'm also giving myself a little bit of grace here because I am learning a whole new language and my brain really does not enjoy learning a new language at my big age. But I'm making progress, so I feel like I can start to devote a little bit more time to YouTube again. So I'm trying to split my time. In the mornings I study and do my class and my work and stuff. And then in the afternoons I'm doing YouTube, and we'll see how this goes. I definitely don't want to scream like we are so back from the rooftops, but I'm trying to be a little bit more present. For anyone who is going to be wondering, I don't have like an upload schedule right now. I'm just trying to work on stuff, and whatever I finish and get done with, I am going to post. I do really want to finish up this Longplay series by the end of the year, but I don't know if that's going to be possible. Maybe it'll be like early next year that this is finally finished. I also want to get a hardcore episode out by the end of the year, and potentially at the beginning of next year. I would really like to get out a 100 days, but I haven't started filming that. I've just started planning it, but it is going to be my first ever 100 days where I have a duo. Also, slightly off topic, but I have not forgotten about these things from earlier, and I will talk about that in a second. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to recording this duos content. I don't normally do a lot of duo stuff except for with Blockdown, but it's not with Blockdown, it's with a different guest that's never been on this channel before. But I am super excited about this, and I hope that you guys are going to like this video once it comes out. I think it's going to be so much fun. But yeah, lots of content ideas on the horizon. I only spend half days on YouTube, so I don't know how much I'll actually get done this year, so no promises on literally anything, guys, but I'm trying. I'm here, I'm showing up, I'm trying. Also, can we just talk about what a huge granite vein this is? Like, it's absolutely ginormous. I feel like I've been mining here forever, and it's still going. Whenever I see granite, I always think about my 118 world, the first world I ever posted on YouTube. I used so much granite in that world. It's one of my favorite Mizuno's blocks. But anyways, I hope everyone had a great end to their summer, or whatever season it was for you. For me, it was summer. It finished off hot. I will say it was quite hot towards the end of the summer for us, but it's finally cooling off here, and it's starting to rain quite a bit. Don't get me wrong, we definitely do need the rain, but my dog hates walking in the rain. He absolutely despises being wet. And worse than that, he despises umbrellas. He does not like an umbrella. He will bark at an umbrella like it's an intruder in the house. So sometimes convincing him to go for a WALK in the rain is a little tough. But, it's worth it every single time because he does have a good time out there, He just doesn't want to be wet. And before you ask, yes, I have tried little raincoat and booties, but he really doesn't like that either. As much when he was a puppy as I tried to get him used to clothes, he did not enjoy being dressed up. The only thing he did not mind was his medical onesie, because he had surgery a couple years ago, and he had a little onesie that he wore while he was not able to lick the wounds and stuff. And he really, really did like that. He doesn't mind that, but he doesn't want anything else. And also, we really have been mining forever. I hope that this is the end of it because I have to take the rest of it now. We've been mining so long that it would just be weird to stop now. It would feel as unsatisfying to me as if I was down in the caves and I needed 8 redstone, and I was mining and I have 9, but there's still 2 ores in the vein. And you just don't pick those up because you're like, well, I have what I need. Nope, I'm taking those every single time. I've heard a term on the internet called loot goblin, and I don't know if that is what applies to me, but I feel like that might be fitting in this situation. But luckily, this is looking like it is at the very end here. Almost fully done. There's one piece that's kind of like awkwardly in the ceiling. We're going to get that. Yeah, there we go. That is all of it. All right, once again, back to the task at hand, which was originally lighting up this cave so that no monsters would spawn and, you know, mess us up while we are working on our hobbit hole. And while I'm thinking about it, we'll go ahead and put all that away. And if we hold left shift over our backpack, that was a nice 565 vein of granite there. So at least we won't have to collect any for quite a while. It depends on how much we use today. I don't know exactly how much we're going to need because I don't know how big the hobbit hole inside is going to be, but we are definitely going to be using that as a flooring today. Now, we don't have to light up every single inch of this cave. We don't have to go on for absolutely ever. I'm just trying to cover most of it as I feel like this is where most of the stuff will probably spawn and maybe be able to track us. I don't know exactly how close you have to be for a mob to start pathfinding to you or trying to pathfind to you. So just trying to do whatever I can here to minimize that risk of having that happen. But that should be good enough for now. That's kind of all the closer areas. So if we just go back this way, this should be back towards the lake. Yeah, there's our beautiful barn. Wow, that is such a beautiful view. All right, let's try to move this guy really quick because I just don't want him here. And let me think, where can I quickly kind of find a place to put him? Oh, the tunnel. The tunnel is actually a great idea. All right, come on down here, buddy. Right this way. If you just let me grab my boat, I'm going to take you into this tunnel where the evil, evil sun will not be able to get to you. And at a later date, I will come back and save you. And I'm actually going to bring him a little deep in here because I don't really want to hear the zombie villager noises while we're building today. That will probably drive me nuts. But this should be far enough away that we don't hear it while we're building. And there we go. Let's just sneak by or get in the boat and get out. All right, good luck. Hopefully in the boat it doesn't despawn, but if it does, that's also okay. And wait, I think I just heard a wandering trader. Oh, yep, I definitely did. Where is this guy? Hello? Hello, wandering trader? Oh, I just saw some movement over there. Those are the wine-making donkeys, aren't they? Hold on, there was a creeper right there. Oh. Wait. Let me go sleep. I don't want anything to happen to the wandering trader or the donkeys or mules or whatever they are. And while we're over here, we can also make a fletching table so I can trade with one of these villagers for some emeralds because I don't know, maybe the wandering trader will have something that I want. I don't have anything from the winemaking mod yet besides a couple of grapes. So if he has any seeds, that would be wonderful. Again, proving my point, we have been in this world recording for, let me look at my OBS, less than 20 minutes. And already have been distracted a number of times, like actually way too many times. It's not even funny anymore. In our botany pot chest, we have a bunch of sticks we can use, but we can also grab some of these logs too if we have to make sticks. And let's go ahead. I don't think we have any other sticks in here. I want to get over and trade with these villagers before that wandering trader either perishes to the mobs of the valley or despawns. Both of those are probably likely options to happen. Let's close that up and we're going to break the boat. Hopefully don't punch the villagers. All right, and we're going to break one of these composters and grab our fletching table. And now we just need to wait for one of them to grab the job, which he did, but he doesn't have sticks. We need a stick trade, so we'll just refresh him. There we go. We've got a stick trade. And yeah, there we go. We traded. I cannot believe our first few trades in this world are actually just for, you know, getting to look at the wandering trader. But it is for the wandering winemaker, so in its essence, I actually think that this is very Frogcrafting core. Alright, let's get that last little bit of emeralds, and yep, I don't have anything to trade with the other guy, but we will come back later, maybe. Hopefully not. Not today. I don't want to focus on villagers today. But let's swim on over to where the horse was, and hopefully that creeper's despawned, because I don't want to deal with him. Especially with all this like landscaping and stuff that we're going to have to do today. Like, we have a lot of work to do, so I just want to make this quick Hello? Mr. Wandering Trader? The mules are over here, so he couldn't have spawned that far away. They should be on a lead though, so somewhere there's leads. Oh, I guess right there. He must have gotten stuck. And let me try to just tame these mules. I don't want them to despawn. I think you have to tame them so that they won't despawn. But if we do a winery, I would love to have the mules on the farm again. Okay, tame the first one. Let's get this one really quick. And hopefully this is also a very quick process, but this one is kind of a fighter. Oh my gosh, what is happening? This one really does not want to be tamed. Wow, oh my goodness. And the whole direction of this episode has just been so distracted from the very get-go. So I just want to say, if anyone is watching this right now, I'm so sorry that it is kind of all over the place. I promise that we will actually get into making a hobbit hole, but first we have to tame these donkeys, or mules, sorry. Okay, there we go. And in my backpack, I do believe I have a saddle. Yep, I do. So we can go ahead and put this on, and then maybe we can also lead the other one, and we can bring these back to the starter house. They're not going to stay at the starter house, but for now they are going to be over at the starter house. Come on, little buddy. I don't want you guys to get lost in the forest because I will be sad if you are not with me. So for now, we're both going to just chill over here at the starter house. And yep, we will tie them up and there we go. Now to go find the wandering winemaker over there. And I just want to say that it's extremely funny that earlier on in this video, we were talking about how Minecraft has all these distractions. Because this is once again more proof that every single time there is a distraction that's going to come up, I am going to get distracted. I'm going to do the distraction, you know? I genuinely cannot be stopped. And maybe that's a good thing. But let's go ahead, find this wandering winemaker, and then we can actually get started because I'm really, really eager to get on with today's project as well. The only thing is, I don't know exactly where he was. I didn't see him, probably because he was invisible at night. But I still don't see him. Is he in this tunnel, do you think? No. There's no way he's in that tunnel, right? I don't see him up here, though. Oh, yep, there he is, kind of hiding in the corner. Ooh, he's got some seeds. And he's got some juice. He's got some coarse dirt slabs, which is kind of cool. We're gonna grab some of those seeds because I don't have those. We can always grow more. I don't know if we're going to do anything with this mod, but we will just take these for now. Thank you very much. And we will worry about that a little bit later. Actually, I should probably light this up. Why are you going into the cave? Well, I mean, if that's what you want to do, I guess good luck. At least you won't have any mobs spawning on you now. And we can put these emeralds away. Okay, now that that distraction is out of the way and taken care of, I think that this is where I want our hobbit hole to be centered around, as we were kind of mentioning earlier. And I also want to leave some rooms down there for the docks and then maybe make like a staircase up. That'll be not in today's episode. That'll be in the docks episode or whenever we get around to that. I don't know if it'll be on like a live stream or something, because we might need to do like a little bit of a retaining wall or something. And I don't know if I'm necessarily ready for that today. And I think it'll be fine up here because our docks will be down there. So that's kind of all that space down there kind of spoken for, but up here it should be free. Now today's original plan was actually going to be working on the docks because I really want to get those in, but I had to change my mind in between episodes because I really, really want to get the storage all done and completed. I feel like that'll make everything else just so much easier. And let me grab our new shovel because our current shovel probably will not make it through all of this project here that we're going to be working on. And I just want to go ahead and just start shaving off the face of this mountain a little bit. I definitely don't want to keep it flat the whole time, but I feel like for space, it'll just be easier to see if it's a little bit more flat now. And then we can always kind of build it back up a little bit later, depending on what we end up doing. I just have a really hard time picturing things when they're not like flat. I really, really need to see it before I can kind of like work things out in my brain. Okay, if we leave this spot for now, we'll leave this how it is. We're kind of just across from the barn here, and this is sort of like the most middle spot that we have. So I'm wondering, do we just take a bunch of this off too and then hope that works out for the best? Although now that I'm seeing this, this is probably going to be kind of messy. And oh my gosh, there's another hole over here. Yeah, this is going to be a little bit messy. It's probably going to be a little bit longer of an episode than I normally do. Although I do tend to say that quite a bit, and then it's almost never a super long play, like longer than I normally do. So yeah, we'll just see. We'll see on that. But switching gears here a little bit, thinking about what I want to do for today's build. The seasons have recently kind of been changing here, and it reminds me of a Hobbit hole I made a couple of years ago, and I feel like I kind of want to revisit that idea. There's just something so comforting about the changing of the seasons to me, the end of summer going into fall. It always reminds me of like the sunflowers that were in my grandma's garden when I was a kid. Somewhere in my grandma's house, there's a framed picture of me and my aunt who was holding me as a little kid in front of her sunflower patch, and that is just like a core memory for me. And when I look around at our valley here and I look at all the different colors we have, we've got the purple of the tower, we've got the pink over there on the mob farms, we've got the teal of the barn and the red of the starter house. I feel like a bright, sunny, yellow, sunflowery type of build would fit in perfectly in this valley. And we can also kind of draw back to that idea of the previous Hobbit hole that I have built a couple of years ago. Now I'm going to edit this in on the screen so you guys know which one I'm talking about. But when I first built this, I was not that good of a builder. I was still kind of learning. And I really wanted to take the idea I had and the feelings that I had for that like changing of the seasons, celebrating sunflower season type of Hobbit hole, and bring that into this world as well, but improve it. And this is something that I've been trying to do a little bit more lately, is kind of bring stuff from the past into the future and see like the things that I was really proud of, like how much more proud I can be as I continue to grow as a builder. And don't get me wrong, I don't think that I am a perfect builder or anything by any means, but when I first started, I was really insecure about how I built because I couldn't really, I feel like I didn't really understand it that well, and I really wanted to get better at it. And in the last couple of years, I've seen such a massive improvement in myself and my skills that it's kind of like so nice to look at my progress over the years and actually feel like, wow, I really did improve, you know? Also, I firmly believe that all of my worlds are deeply connected because I am the storyteller in every single world, and there's just something so fun and magical to me about having like a little nod back to a previous world in the current ones. Okay, deep philosophical yapping aside, I do believe that this is actually looking like a good layer to have this on. I think this actually might even be the same layer that our starter house is on. Let's actually double check that, because that wasn't even really intentional, but it would be kind of cool if that did work. So over here, we're going down by 1, then down by 2, then here up by 1, up by 2, up by 3, but then it goes back down by 1. So that would be 2 up and then 2 down that we did. So that is the same layer actually. Actually, just to look at it from over here, it does look like the same layer, but if we go out this way, this might be a little bit less confusing. Down by 1, down by 2, up by 1, and then up by 2. But yep, that is the same layer. There we go. This actually kind of works out perfectly because then we can curve a pathway over here and kind of flatten that out a little bit. It'll be nice to have kind of a direct pathway over to the starter house. And then of course we'll continue it this way and we'll try to like link it up over there from the barn area. Maybe do kind of some kind of tunnel or something and split it off and going in this direction. I'm not 100% sure what we do, but I definitely want it to curve around and then come back past the storage hobbit hole over to the starter house and all of that. I want it to all be linked all the way around. Also, let's go ahead here and get some sleep. I don't know about y'all, but I am so scared of mobs. Nope, that was wrong. Okay, put the dirt away in this one. Also, I'm so sorry if I'm like constantly opening the wrong backpack. I'm still learning all the different ones because I kind of just set this whole system up that I'm trying out here. I am trying to make a decent attempt here at being more organized, but we all know that I'm not the greatest at doing that. So unfortunately, trying my best is going to have to be kind of where we leave it here. It's going to have to do, you know? If trying my best is not good enough, I mean, we're just going to have to hopefully accept that it is. Okay, moving on, all of these trees that are out here in the front, I'm just going to get rid of for now because we can always plant more later if we want them, but right now they're kind of in the way. Oh, we definitely got to get rid of that one over there. Maybe that one up top too, but we'll see. Maybe that one's one we can leave. Oh, this one's all messed up. As long as we get all the wood though, that's completely fine. We'll just leave that to despawn for now. And also I'm gonna take these flowers too, because I want this whole area over here to be sunflower themed. So we're going to have to actually, you know, get rid of the other flowers in this area. Don't worry, we will prettify this area again later, but looking at this wall, I think we're gonna have to take off a couple more layers over here, starting right here. You know, that does mean we are going to have to take this tree, not with our sword, but with our axe, because it's going to be floating if we don't. I kind of liked this tree. It was kind of nice, so it's kind of sad to see it go, but at the same time, you know, you can't have a floating tree in your flower forest. This place is magical, but not that magical. Flattening out this wall right here feels a little bit wrong, but I promise that we won't leave it flat forever. We are going to come back and add a lot of character to this as we continue on the episode. But I just need, like I said earlier, a kind of like a blank canvas to start with, and then everything else I can kind of build up around that. You know, I probably should go pick up all that like stuff, all the, you know, oak saplings and dirt and stuff. Probably shouldn't leave all that down here. We're probably gonna need it. And this is where you say in the comments, no, Frog, you will not need any of that stuff. This is my problem in every single world. I'm like, I need to collect every single item that I mine, because what if I need it? And this is why in my hardcore world, I'm having a storage problem, because I genuinely just have chests and chests and chests of stuff that I will never use. But to be fair, I mined like 200,000 blocks for my last project on that world, and yeah. Let's start filling in this a little bit just to make this all kind of flat here. But yeah, I did mine quite a bit in that world for the last project that we did, the village project, and that's not even finished yet. We have to do so much more on that. I'm so excited to finish that and have like all my villagers be cured in there. That's actually one of my biggest regrets from my Rosewood world, was not finishing the custom village project that I really wanted to do. It was actually the reason that I picked that world and picked that seed. I really loved the area and I had the perfect idea for a little village in there. So I'm trying to right that wrong in the new world, but the project did turn out to be a little bit bigger than I thought it was going to be. I definitely thought I was going to be able to get it done in like 20 Minecraft days, and 300 days later it was like, hey, we're still not even halfway done. Okay, let's go ahead and torch up underneath there so no spiders spawn down there. Just don't want to deal with the noises. And then also here, we're going to remove all this stone and replace this all with dirt as well, so that grass just spreads throughout the whole thing, so that the whole flower forest kind of floor is the same. Wait, I'm just realizing I still have a layer to do here. Oh, I completely forgot that. I don't know why, but I thought I was done. But anyways, I hope you guys have had a great end of your summer. As I said, it was summer for me. I don't know if it was summer for everyone, but I'm trying to think of what else is new in my life. I tried to start reading again because I was a little bit burnt out on reading for a while. Just with like studying in my class and reading for that and stuff, I wasn't really feeling like reading for fun as much. But I started a new book and it just wasn't really sitting well with me, so I kind of DNF'd it. I might try it again like next year or something, or maybe when I'm feeling a little bit more motivated. I was feeling kind of guilty about that, like, because I'd never want to like DNF a book that I like, you know, paid money for, but I just wasn't feeling it. But I'm also trying to have some patience and grace with myself as well, because I don't want to make myself read something that I'm not enjoying. And even if I thought I was going to enjoy something, maybe like not every single book is for me, and that's also okay, you know? I will say though that my TBR is starting to look like my Steam wishlist and also my Steam backlog, so it's getting a little bit overwhelming for me. And I probably need to cross some books off there before I get any more. Oh my gosh, what was I saying? Sorry, I sneezed. I'm probably going to cut that out, but I sneezed and then I stood there for a long time and now I feel like I've lost my train of thought. Moving forward to another topic, because I don't know what we were saying, but games that I've been playing. It's my unfortunate displeasure to tell you that I have been back in my Valorant era. I changed my crosshair recently and I have been feeling it. I have been hitting the shots. I've been acing every day. It has been going well. And otherwise, I haven't really played anything super in-depth. I've sort of played a couple of games. And you know what? Actually, I am going to push him down into this hole so he's kind of like out of my way. Sorry, buddy. I am still playing my Hello Kitty Island adventure. I'm getting closer to being done with my achievements. My once a month visitor is coming, I think, next week, finally. And I already have 2 stars with them, so I'm hoping that I can get the 3 that I need to get 5 stars total. And that way the last villager can come, or the last visitor, I should say. And I'm just going to expand this out a little bit because we're definitely going to need this space for our walkway at some point. And the DLC just came out too, which I've been really loving. I love the theme of it, kind of that like magical girl theme. It's so much fun. I've really been enjoying that. But other than that, I really haven't really been playing that much. I did try a couple of other games towards the end of the summer. But before we talk about all of that, I want to come over here really quickly and kind of just free cam a little bit so we can kind of look at the space that we have. So if we kind of pull back here, the sun is just at that perfect angle to be annoying. Let's actually pull all the way back towards the barn across the lake so we can kind of zoom in a little bit. I definitely think this middle area kind of here-ish is going to be where we put the Hobbit hole, especially since there's already that little bit of hole there so we don't have to dig as much. I think that's a good idea. But what I think we should do is probably build the facade of the Hobbit hole and then build the hill back around it, kind of. If that makes sense. Well, I can just show you. We're going to go over to the starter house and we are going to grab some materials and then we're actually going to start building. And we're going to just start with building like the front part of the Hobbit hole. We're not going to worry about the inside. We're not going to worry about any interior stuff, but just like that front facade. I feel like I'm explaining this poorly and I'm like trying to use the same words to explain it even though it's not really making sense to me. But we will get there. And actually I have some blocks that we can use. I was planning on using these for a different build later on in this series, but I can always go grab more terracotta. But to keep this in the same kind of theme as the previous Hobbit hole that I showed, I definitely want to grab this yellow terracotta here. We've got a bunch of extra terracotta in case we need to dye some more. And hold on, let me just drop some of this cobblestone out of my inventory. It's kind of taking up some space. I always have like 5,000 things I need to put away. And then I'm like, you know what, let's just go get 5,000 more materials. But luckily, if you're holding an item, you can right click it into the backpack, which is kind of nice. All right, but let's grab a little bit more yellow terracotta. That's going to be very important for our sunflower build. And actually, I was just thinking, what if we use some warped wood today for a little pop of color? We'll go ahead and pick up some glass here, which we're going to need for our windows. And you know, I wonder if the copycats will work with the connected textures of terracotta, but I don't have stairs. So let me grab some. Oh, I have that already in, yeah, the zinc in my iron backpack. So we're good for that. Okay, what else will we need? Some leaves, probably. Yeah, and maybe some of these hanging roots and the glowberries would be good. The rest of this we will figure out later, but we actually do have some azures I can put away. But do I really only have 12 oak leaves? I have no other oak leaves anywhere? In any of these chests, in any of these backpacks or anything? Wow, okay. Well, that is illegal. So we are going to grab some of this bone meal here, and we're also going to grab some oak saplings so we can gather some extra oak leaves. I wish that my hoe had silk touch on it, but instead we're going to have to use shears, which is fine. But I think this is as much as we're going to need from the storage room, actually, because we've already got all the other like wood accents and stuff in the backpack. We'll be using some spruce, we'll be using some dark oak and all that kind of stuff. And if we need any more of that, we can just go downstairs where we've got some growing in our botany pots still, because we've just always got this here. We might as well grab a little bit of extra while we're here. And let's also sleep, but first let me grab my steak, there it is, and eat really quickly, and then we will take a little snooze. Alright, nighttime has passed, and it is time now to go over and start the build. So let's just walk on over here. I'm actually so looking forward to the day when there's a nice pathway through here. That is going to be a game changer. No more struggling on this side. Oh, you know what, actually? I was just thinking I wanted to do brown windows and I completely forgot to get our cocoa beans for brown glass. I don't know if you guys have seen this before, but I did set up a little mini cocoa bean farm over here. It's nothing too fancy. It's just some logs and some cocoa beans on it. There we go. And we will use this to make our brown glass. Now, we don't need a lot because we only need like 8 glass for the stained glass panes because there's only going to be like a couple windows, you know? I probably should torch up this whole area, but we'll just play it by ear for now. Wow, this actually filled in with grass like really, really fast. Anyways, moving on, we are going to drop everything into our backpack for now, which we will come back to once we are ready for all these different material types, but let's grab our leaves first. So we'll put down our sapling, bone meal it up, and hope for a small tree. This is actually perfect. We don't want anything that was too big, because that would just be annoying, you know what I mean? We just want a small tree so we can easily shear all the leaves, get rid of the logs really fast, and move forward. Oops. I meant to place the sapling so that I could bone meal it, then accidentally bone mealed the ground, but that's okay. Place the sapling and bone meal it and hope for another small tree, which this is perfect. My shears breaking is less perfect. I've got another shears. This is also going to break. You know, I will say at least I'm using up the shears that I had and not just letting them sit in my backpack, which is what I normally do. At the end of this world, I don't want to have another like tools chest where pretty much everything inside of it is a shear with less than 25% durability. But okay, I think that's enough leaves. We don't probably need any more than that. And if we do, we can always grab some more, but I want to actually start placing the facade, but let's try to find the perfect spot for it. I definitely want to have like the center point kind of be around this hole here, so I definitely need to make that work. And hi me, hello! But yeah, definitely right there is where we're going to kind of center this whole thing. Okay, so let's go ahead and grab out some stuff we can measure with. And oh my gosh, I just realized that I completely forgot about this mystic binding crystal thing, and I told you guys I was going to talk to you guys about it. So let's go ahead and talk about it now. Inside of the binding crystal, there is an iron golem, so we can make an iron farm. I summoned it in between episodes and captured it. So we're going to upgrade a barrel here to the special barrels that we used last time. We're going to put our hopper upgrade in there, and then we are going to put an iron golem farm on top, which I crafted in between episodes, and then we put our mystic binding crystal in there as well. And I got the iron golem for this by summoning it like the hired hellplay, but now that we put it in here, this should produce iron for us. If we hover over here, yeah, iron is the bonus drop. So I think the poppy is the default drop. I'm not 100% sure. But it was definitely worth the effort of getting this and going and getting some gas tiers and stuff because it's going to give us some iron over time. But yeah, that is basically the whole mystic binding crystal thing. We will leave it there for now. We'll build up and then we'll go and check on it and make sure we get some iron actually. Sorry, I'm looking for my sawmill, but there it is. And we'll also need our stone cutter as well. We'll need both of those things so we can just lay those out right here. And I want to grab a couple of barrels. I definitely won't need this many, but they'll be useful to us later on, so that's fine. So as always, kind of the first thing I want to do is figure out where the doorway is going to go and where our pillars are going to go. So I want to try to visualize kind of where the doorway is going to be. So if we start it kind of like here, we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. But maybe we bring that out one more and we'll remove these. Okay, and then on either side of that, we're going to want a pillar on the outside. And we're going to bring this up a couple over here, but how far? Probably 5 up, so this will be up by 4. We'll bring this side up by another 2, so that's 4 as well, so 5 high. And we're going to fill in this just for the visual. We are going to have to break this dirt, unfortunately, but it's fine because we will build that back up later on. And you know what? Actually, we might need to bring that up one more for the crossbeam. I wasn't thinking of that. Let's do this. We'll cross it over. Okay, yeah, that's looking right. In the middle here, we're going to block out a doorway, and we will work on making this whole thing look a little bit better, I promise. Okay, and then on the sides here, I want to do a little spot for a window. So kind of let's bring out this yellow terracotta and then maybe like a 3 section and another beam. And I don't want that to go quite as high. So we'll kind of do something like this maybe. Just so that this has a little bit of a smaller scale. Oh no, I want this to be a little bit more rounded. So we're going to have to take off this top part and actually pull this down a bit. Nope, that is not what I meant to do. I meant to put it one further up. But yeah, there we go. You can make that into a nice little circle as well. Let's grab those logs up there. But the main door, I definitely want to have like a big circle going on. We'll have a window right here, and then we can take this to the other side and do the same thing, the same shape over here. And once we clear this dirt, we'll just bring this out and do exactly the same thing that we did on the other side. Make it exactly the same. Got a, well, not a sideways barrel, but a up and down barrel and a beam. And we'll cross it that way. There we go. All right, let's take a step back. I didn't mean back off of the ledge. I just meant to take a step back, but that is looking cute. I really like that. Over here, I think we're just going to seal this off with like another barrel. I know this is probably not going to look the best, but don't really know how to fix that right now. So we'll just kind of leave it like that. We'll do the same thing over here. I think we'll try to make this work a little bit. I don't know exactly how it's going to work out, but we'll try. And then all of this will be stripped, obviously. Because as I say in every single video that I use Mizunos in, the dark oak and the spruce color match really well when the dark oak is stripped. Okay, and then coming to the doorway, I'm actually going to recess this kind of like I do with our other doorways in this world. I don't think I did it over on this house, but I definitely did it on the last build. Of course, you cannot see that because of the trees. But I'm not going to stop here at the normal shape that we do because I'm going to bring this up just one further because I really want to try and see if our copycats are going to work with the connected textures. So if we put these into our stone cutter, we can look for our stairs right here. And now I want to place these in kind of an archway design. And then I want to see if these are going to take the connected textures from the terracotta, as you see. Which they do, which is awesome. Oh my gosh. This is actually so perfect. I'm so happy that these respect the connected textures because this is the perfect archway right here. And let's go ahead. We'll grab some of our warped planks. You guys already know I love to do a warped plank on the bottom or a plank on the bottom and then stripped on the top. That is just kind of like my thing that, well, I don't think this was originally mine, but it is something that I've done for a while. But just trust me, this is going to look great. Well, not exactly like that. We will have to fix that. But we will put it right there. And I think it's going to look so good once we strip it and get it all fixed up. There we go. Now, if we don't like this, we could always change this middle section out to be brown to be more like the middle of a sunflower. But I actually think I wasn't falling off there. But I actually think I really like the pop of color here. It kind of draws the eye in. It really, really like gives you that kind of contrast in the center, which I absolutely love. And I think once we get all the details on here, if you're looking at this from like across a lake, it's really, really going to bring your eyes right to it. But we are missing a window here. So let's pop that out. And then speaking about details, let's go ahead and start working on those. We're going to go ahead and start here with just a couple of our spruce things that we use to arch off our other builds. Do one on this side, one on this side, and I'm going to do the ones on the bottom. I don't normally do those on the bottom, but I feel like for this, it's going to actually look really, really nice. Especially when you have something like this kind of recessed entryway here that we have, it's going to look super, super good. It's going to be a nice circle when we zoom out here. Yeah, that is a perfect circle. I know that we haven't really gotten that far in this, but I really like it so far, actually. Let's grab a couple more stairs and some more trapdoors while we're over here. And then we'll bring those over here and we'll just do like the classic little kind of rounded window shape over here. Trapdoors and all of the sides except for the bottom because I might put some flowers there. I don't know yet. Maybe a flower box. Like if we did a warped flower box instead of a spruce one, that might look nice. And then let's go over here and we're going to get some of our dark oak slabs. And you guys already know what we're going to do with these. Well, if you don't know, we're going to make some of those beautiful lanterns again. And I cannot believe I just put the torch in the wrong position. That's so funny. All right, then we're going to go over. We're going to pop one right above the doorway. And yeah, that is looking... Oh my gosh, I fell down again. I really need to extend this area. I keep thinking that there's more space than there is. I guess in my brain, I keep thinking that it's like a lot wider than I actually made it. So let's go ahead and try to fix that up a little bit. I don't even know if this will be enough space, as you know, I probably will fall off at least 1 or 5 more times, but we're just going to extend it just a tiny bit here. Y'all just gonna bear with me a little bit here. I am just a girl and I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm pretty sure that's evident by watching these long plays and every single step. Okay, now to look at this again, this is kind of the idea and the vibe that we're going for here. But if you're looking at this and you're saying Frogcrafting, the top looks a little bit wild up there. It's kind of not looking great. I want to incorporate the cliff as much as I can into the top of the hobbit hole, like pull the cliff out and make it kind of meet the hobbit hole so it kind of covers the top and it's not its own thing. Does that make sense? Hold on, let me sleep really quick and then I'll show you guys kind of what I mean. All right, let's grab our sleeping bag and then if we go over here, we can climb up. I don't think that we can go up this way, no. Hopefully there are no mobs around here. I really need to get this whole area lit up, but you know, that can wait till later. Okay, so what we're gonna do over here is we're gonna try to cover this and kind of make it blend in with the side of the cliff here a little bit. So we're just gonna start with kind of like a high point here and then kind of bring this down a little bit. And we're gonna edit this as we go because I think this actually needs to be like a little bit farther up. I don't 100% know. Bring it over to the other side and kind of do the same thing. Like this. But I don't know. I feel like it was right the first time, actually. It was like kind of underneath like that. Yeah, I feel like that was more right. Sorry, I'm trying to freehand this and kind of like keep it in like a nice shape too, so I don't really know what I'm doing, and that's probably very clear at this point. But I want to kind of get a shape here and then bring the hillside over to kind of match it, if that makes sense. So we'll get a little bit going like right here, push it out 1 more, and then we can kind of build up towards the cliff on the side of it like that. And then the rest here, we're just going to kind of blend upwards and in to what we already have and kind of what's already there, if that makes sense. I don't know if blending is the right word here, but I feel like that's what I'm going to try to be doing. And I also need to get all of these alliums and the other flowers out of here because we're going to put a bunch of sunflowers up here later. And actually, this is kind of perfect because this does face the way that the sun rises. I mean, the sun is kind of at an angle because of my shaders, but that is not changing the fact that the sun rises here. And that'll mean that all the sunflowers are going to face this way, which is going to look really good, I think. All right, now I kind of want to blend over here on the same kind of way. So let's go ahead and do that. There's a little bit of stuff going on up there. Whoops. Don't really want to deal with that right this second. All right, if we pop into free cam here, how are we looking? Oh yeah, that's starting to come along. I really like that because you're kind of getting the idea of what I'm going for. Just like kind of a little curve coming up and over. Honestly, I kind of wanted to give a little bit of like Shire-esque, and I feel like it's starting to kind of get that vibe. Of course, you could do moss on the top of this. I just didn't because I feel like I have so much dirt. And I feel like the details on the grass here, like the little grassy bits and bobs, will look really good with the other colors that we have picked, like the, you know, the yellow and the blue and the brown. And we are going to bring this back just a little bit so we can keep the focus on kind of like that shape that the hill is making, or the hobbit hole is making. Okay, from down here though, we've got to bring this top bit out. That looks a little strange that we don't have that. And I'm going to remove this block right here to match up the other side. Oh, I hear some zombie noises. There's nothing coming at us though, right? Let's ignore that for now. But also we have some of these hanging roots and we have some glowberries too. So I think that we can just use those to give a little bit of detail here. You can get these by bone mealing the bottom of rooted dirt and then collecting them with shears. And I feel like they just add such a little nice bit of, you know, detail. Let's try to do something over here. I don't really know how to cap this off on the side. I don't know if this is necessarily kind of like the idea that I want, actually. Kind of looks a little bit weird, doesn't it? Maybe we just ignore that for now and then I come back to it when I'm feeling a little bit more confident about what I'm actually going to do over here. It's okay to remove something and not like it after we try, but we will try something else later. And you know, once the grass spreads across this whole thing up top up here, I feel like that's going to look really, really nice. Add a couple of pieces over here, kind of curve that out a little bit. I think that's a little bit better than it was. My inventory is completely full though, of course. It's always full. And then I want to grab our glowberries. I want to grab some shears. Where did I put our shears? And we can use our leaves and our glowberries here as well for some extra kind of detail. So let's go ahead, we'll snip them and then bone meal them to get a little bit of extra light. I feel like I don't use glowberries enough in my build, so this is me reminding myself that they exist and that I need to use them a lot more than I currently do. That is coming out so, so cute. And also, I just saw this on the corner of my eye, so let's check. We've got 12 iron. Let's go. This is huge. We're also getting poppy, so that's also red dye, and it doesn't seem to be using our mystic binding crystal at all, so that's kind of nice. I'm so, so happy that we have a passive way to get iron now. And the reason I have it over here is because I don't know if over there, if that's loaded. Like, I know obviously we can see it, but I don't know if like the entities and stuff in there are loaded, but I will eventually move it over there. I just wanted iron near us today while we were working, so because I feel like we're going to need a lot of it. And per usual, I'm going to bring in some leafage here. It doesn't matter what kind of build it is, it gets a little bit of leaves. I could never build a style that doesn't allow leaves because leaves are just my favorite thing. They add so much bounciness to a build, so much life, so much overgrown vibes, and I feel like that's kind of like my favorite thing. I definitely don't want to overdo the leaves, but I feel like on a build like this with the kind of Hobbit hole vibes with the dirt and everything, I don't really know if you can kind of overdo it on this kind of thing. It would make a lot of sense for there to be a lot of kind of bushiness from this kind of a build. Ooh, you know, I think we get some leaves over here, not in the barrel, but kind of just curved around over here a little bit. Okay, now if we take a pop into free cam here, we can get a little overview of the vibe. And of course, the sun is in directly the wrong position to be annoying again, but this is sort of the vibe that we're going for the Hobbit hole. And I think that this is really working. I think it is so, so cute. And if we come back here and look at it from over here, it just feels like such a kind of warm, inviting space over there. And by the time we're done, I want it to look really, really overgrown with all of the sunflowers and leaves and everything. And also kind of looking at this, I definitely think we're going to have to fill in this wall over here and then kind of build up some of the cliff face again so it looks a little bit less flat over there. But I think those are completely doable goals for this video. Now, before we do anything else, I want to kind of clean out my inventory. I'm going to put some stuff away really quick. Now, the next thing I kind of want to do is work on mining out the inside a little bit because that is going to be really, really important to finishing the Hobbit hole and getting our storage set up. So I'm going to grab these really quick. And we also are going to need a door, but I'm going to, now hear me out, I'm going to do something a little bit weird, and of course I just picked up the saw, I'm going to have to place that back down. I'm going to do a jungle door. Now, I don't know what we're going to use for the floor yet, but if I had to take a guess based on everything else we've done in this world, it's probably going to be pine because it's always pine. So let's just grab out some of our pine. Oh, wait, you know what? We were going to use our granite, so we can put that away. We can grab some granite here, and then we're going to place our jungle door. And there we go. I really like that kind of a door face because it has that little pocket window on the front where you can see through it. I really love that. We still do need to get our brown windows in, and I really want to do a little bit of extra stuff on the frame of the door before we go in here as well. Because I just realized it looks a little bit bare bones, so if we did maybe something like this, it would look a little bit nicer. Just give it a little bit more definition. I don't know, I feel like this is definitely going to help just a little bit of shaping here that I'm seeing. It's kind of just not really like weird, but just kind of needed a little bit of extra oomph, you know? Oh, yeah. That is what we are talking about. Oh my gosh, I fell off again. Okay, somebody in the comments, count how many times did I fall off of this today? Because, wow. But yeah, that is exactly the kind of vibe that I wanted, that we were going for. I am so embarrassed that I just fell off of that again. Okay, going inside where I cannot fall off. In here, we kind of come to a different problem, and that's that all of my pickaxes are a little bit low. So what I probably need to do here is probably start combining some in our anvil. Just to get, you know, a little bit of a healed pickaxe. I really need to roll for mending, and that's going to cost 14 levels, but I think it's going to be worth it, I hope. I mean, I don't feel like we really have a choice here. You know, we already have the pickaxes. Might as well do it for our fortune pickaxe as well to get efficiency 5 on there too. And that's basically all of our levels now. And we also do have this last efficiency 5 pickaxe that I combined earlier on in the series, but we're going to ignore that for now. I need to get mending badly, which we will. And for now, we're just going to focus on, you know, mining out some of this to make the shape of our room. Anyways, before we got into all of this building, I was talking about games that I have played, and I really want to come back to that conversation. There have been so many great indie games that I have played this summer. I've continued on playing Peak. I love the new map. I actually prefer the new Peak map to the wintry one. I'm almost done with my achievements. I think I need like 3 more. One of them is currently bugged, or it was bugged the last time I played, so I haven't played in a while. But another great game that I've started is Whisper of the House. It's sort of like Unpacking. It kind of gives the same kind of vibes as Unpacking, but you get to do a lot more with it, and it's been so much fun. There are so many like hidden secrets and different little like puzzles and stuff, and I love that you can also collect the furniture to make your own houses like for yourself and your character to live in. I love that so much. And another fun puzzle game that I played this summer, I've already 100%ed this, was Is This Seat Taken? And this is a game, it's kind of like a whimsical little puzzle game where you seat people in various scenarios based on their very particular like pet peeves and preferences. The graphics were cute, the music was great, and the puzzles were fun and challenging without feeling too difficult, if that makes sense. But let me grab my yellow terracotta here. Oh my gosh, why did I say orange? But that way we can start doing this side wall as well. Maybe we'll just kind of cover this up really quickly and do that. Like, I feel like that works, right? Not there, but something like this. Yeah, and then we just got to figure out how tall are we wanting to take this? Do we want to take it up all the way that we have it over there? Which I feel like this is actually kind of a fine height if we go up by 5. I wonder, can this stuff be broken here without messing up the front? Which it does look like it's fine. I guess we kind of did that right outside then. Yeah, it looks like it's all covered, so we'll just roll with it, and then if it's wrong or weird, we will fix it later. You know, at least we will kind of have a menial task to do today, like mining out a storage room while we're yapping. Because normally I'm doing this while I'm building or, you know, resource gathering or whatever, but this is kind of nice because we've got the mining sounds in the background and me yapping in the foreground, you know? I also played a little kind of idle incremental game called Keep on Mining. That was pretty fun. I really, really enjoyed that. It was short and sweet. This actually kind of pains me to say because I really do enjoy the game, but I have kind of given up on Infinity Nikki because it's just too expensive if you want to get the outfits. I have been like trying not to spend any money, trying to be like a little bit more fiscally responsible. And I know that, you know, the game is obviously a gacha game, so it's kind of designed in that certain way, but you just don't really get a lot as a free player. Like you have to save for a really long time to get like the pulls to get an outfit if you want to pull for one, and for me that just isn't really that fun. Like the 5-star outfits have, you know, an average of sometimes up to 200 pulls to get all the different pieces, and that's just for like one evolution of the outfit as well. So it was just a little bit too much for me personally. I really, really did enjoy it though. I love the photo mode still. I love the exploration and all of that. I really, really hope that someday we get a different type of game that's similar because I really, really enjoyed the style of the game a lot. I'm still grinding out Palia from time to time. I take breaks and then I go back and then I take breaks and then I go back. I'm still enjoying it though. Still enjoying Palia. A Silk Song randomly dropped, which I did pick up for my birthday this year, but I did not start playing that yet because I know once I do, I'm going to get sucked in, but I'm going to definitely play it before the end of the year. Town to City came out, which I tried and I absolutely loved. I really want to get some more playtime in on that. It reminds me a little bit of like your typical city builder with like tiny glade elements because it's really, really cozy. You can kind of just move everything freely, and I don't know, I just really, really enjoy that. Then I was also chugging along with my bestie on the Elden Ring 100% playthrough, but we had a Elden Ring update in the middle of the summer at some point, so we kind of chilled on that because we weren't sure if the seamless co-op mod would work. Spoiler alert, it did the whole time, but we thought it didn't work and we were waiting for the update. So we tried Dark Souls 3 with the co-op mod for the first time. And this was my first time ever playing Dark Souls 3, and I had such a blast with the game until we got to Midir. The legends say she is still stuck there, emberless, no embers in her inventory because she used them all against Midir. We've gotten him down to like 25% health remaining like once, but I just really need to learn his moveset a little better. He's a little bit more difficult than some of the other Dark Souls bosses. But since we figured out that Elden Ring Seamless Co-op is still working, we've gone back to that. We've done almost the entire DLC. We just have PCR at the end left to do. And in the base game, we are up to Placidusax, which is kind of a fun and also kind of terrifying. But yeah, we're doing as many quests as possible. We still have the Halig tree to do, and we've got to go through and do the ending kind of Capital of Ash stuff too. And Consecrated Snowfields, that's also a given there. I haven't been there yet. But yeah, we are slowly chugging along, and the last couple of games I want to talk about that I've tried, I finally threw in the towel and gave Fields of Mystria a real try. Now, I've been following Fields of Mystria since like before I was even a content creator. I've like literally followed them on Instagram forever. And I'm so happy to report to you guys that the game is as good as I was hoping that it would be. Genuinely, while I was playing it, I was so in, but I only played about like 8 hours or so, but just to get a taste of it, you know, just to get a little taste of it. I am still waiting for them to go add achievements before I go full in, but I don't think that's happening this year. And this looks weird, but we are going to cover that up, like I said, so we can probably actually just do that now since we have some stone now from silk touching all of the stone on the inside. If we can just get this wall all filled in, and then we can start kind of adding a little bit of extra here, just make it look a little bit more interesting and kind of intentionally shaped that way. We can also pepper on there some of these weird kind of dirt patch overhang thingies. I don't know what these are called. If you guys know the actual name for these, feel free to leave it in the comments. For now, dirt patch overhangs will have to do, but yeah, that looks a lot better, a lot cleaner over here. Over here, I think we could do like a big sunflower garden would probably be nice. That way it kind of matches the theme as well. You know, actually, let's smooth this out a little bit more because I feel like it looks a little strange. But that's a little bit better, kind of curving along that naturally as much as possible. But anyways, yeah, Fields of Mystria, so much fun. Cannot wait to see when that game is fully done. I don't even think I made it super far into it, but I was absolutely having a blast. Like, I cannot say enough how much I really enjoyed the game. And there is another game that I want to talk about that I'm actually kind of excited about. I think you guys would like it, but let's take a step back here. I'm gonna leave these for now. They just added like a little bit of pep, a little bit of zest to these walls over here. But don't worry, we are going to come back to this at the end and kind of fix this up, make it all look a little bit nicer. But next up, I want to put some windows in really quickly. But first, my inventory is an absolute mess again, so let's get rid of everything that we don't need, putting all of our stuff away here. And now we are going to grab our glass and our cocoa beans really quick, and we're going to craft that into brown glass. Surround that with our glass here, and then we'll make that into glass panes. I love Mizuno's brown glass. I think it is actually my favorite glass in the whole pack. And I love that it really fits in the border of our terracotta here. I really love that. It's just such a nice little detail. And now that we are safe inside, we can continue on our grind here of mining this whole area out. We still do have to talk about a few things outside of, you know, just general yappage. Like, let's check over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 blocks. And then over here, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, yeah. We're gonna go 3 this way. That way it can kind of line up and match up. But the game I wanted to talk about is Discounty. So if you guys have played Stardew Valley, Discounty is kind of similar to Stardew, except that you are Joja. So you run your aunt's supermarket, and the town is kind of like not trusting you, and everyone's kind of shady and gossips about each other a lot. It's really fun. The store management is not too difficult. It's actually, I thought it was going to be stressful, but it's not that bad. And I don't know, I like learning about the lore of the city as well. It's really fun. If you guys see a sale for this one, I would definitely recommend picking it up if it's on your list. But also, as I said earlier, there was some stuff that we have to talk about within this build as well. While at its core, this is going to be a storage building, I also wanted to have some function besides storing all of our items, because I'm not going to have like a building for smelting or anything. So I'm thinking, what if we did like a little bit of like a crafting area and smelting over here? And then throughout the rest of the Hobbit hole, we can have all of our items kind of tiled throughout in like little pods. We also are going to have to figure out our, you know, overhead space here, and that can be a little bit tricky, especially with the grass being close on the outside, but we will figure that out in a little bit. And we definitely don't need this to go on for absolutely ever. Like, it doesn't need to go to the other side of the mountain. Probably we don't have that many items, but yeah, I just want to have enough room for everything. And I'm sorry for like abruptly topic switching. I was just thinking about it, and I was like, you know what? I better say it, otherwise I'll forget. My brain is always going like 10 miles faster than my actual mind is. So we were talking about the ceiling over here, and let's kind of see how much space do we actually have. Okay, it looks like we do have 2 full spaces to work with there, but we're going to come back to that in a little bit. I'm not going to worry about that too much right now. And that's mostly just because I don't want to figure out what the ceiling is going to look like right now. I would rather, so much rather, just dig out the rest of this and have like a cozy little peaceful adventure instead of something a little bit stressful. Although, why am I even calling that stressful? Because why am I acting like I'm going to be walking through snake-infested forest or something while I'm just building a ceiling in Minecraft? Like, my body is like, we are going to have to fight someone. But it is not that serious. Like, we are very lucky right now to be having fun in a video game that we love, like, so much. So, cut it out, Frogcrafting. Cut it out. Frog sea rafting, and the C stands for cut it out. Anyways, I hope everyone's having a good start to their fall. It is officially fall, y'all. Not to be too much like Vermont influencer right now, but every time the leaves start changing, I feel like I begin to re-thrive, because fall is my favorite season. I don't have too many fall activities planned here because I don't think the Netherlands really celebrates fall the same way that we do, like in New York, where I'm from. So I am, however, going to try to make some homemade apple cider, because we don't have apple cider here except for like the hard kind, and I don't want an alcoholic apple cider during the fall. I really want that kind of like going to the pumpkin patch kind of apple cider, getting like a little spiced donut or whatever. The people who know will know. I also really love going for walks at this time of year with, you know, the weather being a little bit cooler. It's not as hot, which I personally love. But I am going to also rewatch Twilight because I feel like I do that every single fall. And after I'm done watching Twilight, I always watch all of the Hunger Games movies. I don't know why, but I feel like that is just what I do every single time. I know a lot of people watch Gilmore Girls in the fall, but I was never a Gilmore Girl girly. And I know that's probably sacrilegious to say. Okay, here we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16 for the wall. But I think we'll keep it at 15 long, and then we'll just see if that's enough space. Otherwise, we will run out of terracotta, I think. I don't know why I'm not a Gilmore Girls girly, because I really do like that kind of style, but I feel like, I don't know, there was just something with that show that I didn't really love. Maybe it's something that I need to give another chance into my adulthood. I just don't watch that much TV. Actually, I have been watching a brand new series. Well, it's not really brand new, but it's new to me. I am watching my first anime in like ever. Well, I mean, not ever, but I meant the first anime that I've watched personally forever. Wait, is this right? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and this would be 6. Okay, this is for the wall, but I'm going to close that off so that I don't confuse myself because I'm yapping and I feel like I will get confused about that. I feel like I haven't watched a anime since like Sword Art Online, which was like a really long time ago. So my best friend was like, hey, do you want to watch Freegan with me? Because she really liked it. So I've been watching that with her on Sundays. We just watch like a couple episodes at a time. But I've been enjoying that so far. I didn't expect to feel so connected to the characters after just a couple of episodes. Like I was like, oh my gosh, why am I crying? I definitely think that's something though that I feel emotions really strongly when other people are feeling them as well. I feel like I mirror that a little bit and I'm like, they're crying, I'm also devastated. I didn't even know this person, you know? If you guys have watched Free Run, let me know what you thought of it. I don't really watch a lot of anime. I don't really watch a lot of TV in general. But everyone always very much assumes that I am an anime fan, and I don't know if I just give off anime fan vibes, but I really did like anime a lot when I was a kid. And it's not like I fell out of love with it or, you know, started hating it or anything. I just didn't have as much time to like watch shows as I used to. I've always been a little bit more of like a movie person, so whenever I have time to watch some stuff, I usually will watch a movie or I'll gravitate towards something that I already know, like I've already seen. So like I've seen The Office like a million times, but if I'm watching something and I don't know what to watch, I will just put that on just because I already know what to expect. I've already seen it, so I can kind of like lightly pay attention to it or have it on in the background and not really feel like I'm out of place. But with the limited amount of kind of free time I have outside of studying and work and, you know, household stuff and all that general life stuff, I'd much rather like play a game or read. Well, I'm trying to get back towards reading again. But yeah, let me know what fall activities you guys have planned. If you guys are going to pumpkin patches, taking pictures with friends, carving pumpkins, doing the hay bale ride stuff, like that is always so fun to me. I will live vicariously through all of your experiences. Oh, and there was another thing that I wanted to mention to you guys as well. During the Steam Autumn sale that was like for the last week or it ended this week, I don't know. But there was a sale going on at some point. I don't know if it's still going on right now. Probably by the time this video comes out, it is over. But it had Water Park Simulator that was in there on sale. So I picked up Water Park Sim and I've been playing it in the Discord supporter streams. Now that has been such a fun experience. So if you guys are YouTube members or Twitch subscribers and you're in the Discord, you can link your account to get access to like a private supporter channel. And there we have, you know, world downloads for certain worlds and, you know, other stuff like artwork we made on our Twitch streams in there. But I used to stream in there all the time and then I stopped for a while and now I'm trying to get back into it and trying to do at least one stream per week in there. And we're currently kind of splitting our stream time between Water Park Sim and also working on the community server. So there is a supporter SMP that I have. I try not to advertise this because I don't want anyone to feel like they have to subscribe or pay to be a member of the channel or a member of the community because that's absolutely not the case. It's more kind of like an extra like little thank you for the people who do subscribe over on Twitch and here on YouTube. We are getting excited for the Age of Copper update that's upcoming. We're going to be moving up into that update as soon as we possibly can. But yeah, we've been splitting our time between Waterpark Sim and the community server, and it's been a lot of fun. I've been really enjoying it. And on the community server, I'm kind of working on a big like a trading hall public island thing that people can go and like trade for emeralds or books or whatever. Been slowly terraforming this island and then building up, you know, a wall around it, and we've got like a big glass dome, and I'm gonna start building like little houses, but all the villagers will be safely underground so that no mobs can get them. And this community project is definitely not a distraction from the fact that I have my own island project on the server that I'm trying to work on, which is a big copper and purple castle. But if you do want to become more involved, or if you want to join the Discord, feel free to check out the description or go to discord.gg/frogcrafting. My Discord is pretty chill. There are a lot of people in it, but not everyone's always chatting every single day. So, you know, it's mostly people just saying, hi, how are you? And everyone is very, like, supportive and comforting, in my opinion. Like, everyone's super nice. People who are mean tend not to last long in my Discord, because me and the mod team, we've got our eyes on them. Don't worry. But yeah, just another place where you can get involved with the community, share your Minecraft builds, get feedback, share inspo, etc. We also have like recipes channels and, you know, book club channels and stuff like that. So if you want to join, it's there, but if not, also no pressure. You're still just as much part of the community if you're not in the Discord. But once we finish Waterpark Sim, we'll probably swap to a different kind of game. I don't know which one we will end up doing because I am only about an hour into Waterpark Sim. But I was crying laughing. I was like trying to serve a hot dog to someone and slipping over a puddle, and someone was drowning, and someone was like panicking on the diving board, and I had 3 people waiting for tickets. It felt so stressful that I felt like I was clocking into a real shift at a real job, and it is a game. So if that one is on your list, I highly recommend checking it out. I've been having such a blast with it, and it's still in early access. Like, it just came out pretty recently. And there's already so much in the game, I can't imagine like how much more they're going to add or how cool it'll be once it's like fully finished. But yeah, let's go ahead and smooth this all out in through here. It'll make the ceiling just a tiny bit easier to do later on. You know, I think it might finally be time later on to break out the scaffolding. For the first time in this series, we might have to go and make some scaffolding because this is going to be quite high up. All right, and let's fill in this last little bit because that was just a test a little bit earlier, and I want to grab up all of this stone here. And we'll put some of this in our furnace. Probably not a full stack. We don't need a full stack, but a half stack will definitely do because I want to make some blast furnaces as well. And you know, while we're here, let's go ahead and just clean up the inventory a little bit. And what I want to do here, I'm going to take some barrels and I want to start plotting out those kind of pods that I mentioned for the different things. So maybe if we do like 3 spaces instead of 2, and then we'll do 1 right here as well. And that'll be the start of like pod 1. And I'm going to grab some dark oak and we'll do a beam for that. And then later on, we will come back and strip that, but we're going to go ahead and count 1, 2, and 3 spaces, and then do another one, and then 1, 2, and 3, and another one, and then 1, 2, and 3. So that'll kind of like flush up with the wall right exactly. But there we go, and we will get beams going for all of these barrels. I did not expect to run out of dark oak, even though it's pretty obvious I only had like 20 or something in my hands. I was going to run out no matter what. Okay, and then in our wood backpack, we have a couple of other bits and bobs. I don't know exactly all of what we're gonna need though. Definitely trapdoors. I'll just grab a bunch of stuff. because I do want to make a crafting and smelting area. So over on this side is going to be the smelting, and this side is going to be the crafting. So over here we can put a bunch of our crafting stations. Like for instance, we can do maybe a stone cutter, and then we can put our sawmill next to that on another trapdoor, and then also a crafting table. And then maybe above that we do another set of like shelves. I don't know, can we put a block on that? Oh yeah, we can. Okay, perfect. So we will have to figure out some stuff to put up here, but for now let's just do like a lantern. And maybe we can put some other stuff up there as well. But we'll do another couple of, well, we'll do one more trapdoor, not a couple. I just made a couple. But there we go. We've got a crafting area. And over here, I want to do a smelting one. I don't need it to necessarily be automated, but I do want a couple of blast furnaces, which is why I'm making this smooth stone. But actually, I don't know. Is it the smooth stone on the bottom? Yeah, and then the iron's on the top, right? But we need to go and grab some cobblestone. But I have some furnaces already. And ooh, we are getting so much iron. Well, it's actually not that fast, but I'm still happy that it's being produced. It is iron that I didn't have to mine, and even if it goes a little slow, we won't need that much iron by the end of this series. You know, it's just nice to have it kind of passively building up in the background. But if we go up into our starter house here, we have a blast furnace already, which we can grab. And then we have a couple of other furnaces over here as well. Oh, wait, that one had some copper in it. And I think I'm going to leave these ones here just in case we ever need to smelt anything in the house. I don't want to break the aesthetic of the house too much, you know. And wow, look at how cute that looks. It's so bright in the nighttime. But honestly, the whole valley is really starting to get a whole bunch of light and stuff going on throughout with all those warm lanterns. I cannot wait to see what this looks like at the very end of the series when you're walking around with the lanterns at nighttime. It's going to be so beautiful. I really, really love that like warm yellow light that these lanterns give off. It's a little bit different than the typical vanilla light. I don't know how to explain it, but it's almost like the difference between LEDs and those like old lights. Like think modern LED Christmas lights versus the old warm lights. That's kind of the idea that I'm talking about. But okay, let's focus up here. Let's get some extra blast furnaces. So if we place these down, then we'll have a row of blast furnaces, which is definitely something I want. But I also want some regular furnaces as well. Let me grab our cobble and we can go and craft some. And we'll just completely mess this up. Let's try again. There we go. Okay, we'll put those in. And then also maybe we can make some smokers. I mean, I don't really know how much we're going to smoke meat over here, but maybe just to have a couple. We'll place those down. But what to do on top now? Maybe we'll just put the smokers on the top and then fill in the middle with extra furnaces. Oh, but I made them all into smokers. Oh no. That was an accident. Okay, let me grab some more cobble. We'll craft up a couple of extra ones. But yeah, if we take these now and we fill in this, yeah, I feel like that's a little bit better. With all these extra furnaces as well, we'll always be able to smelt up glass or bricks or whatever we need to make. And so let's go ahead. We'll make another one here. I need 2 actually, but do I have any more cobblestone? I have 10. I wonder, do we? Oh yeah, we have some in the backpack as well. I forgot about the backpack. Well, specifically the pathway backpack is what I forgot about. I completely forgot that we had that. Okay, let's get these settled in there. And then, yeah, this is kind of like the idea, the concept. So this will be like the first little section with the smelting, and then the rest will be storage. And we're going to kind of section off our items in these with some barrels. So let's go ahead and grab some barrels. Sorry, I was just trying to see if I had any redstone torches, but I don't yet. So we're going to just grab our barrels. And then we are going to combine those barrels with some redstone torches. So we're going to craft up a couple of redstone torches here. And of course, I've got sticks everywhere except for the one place where I need them to be, which is inside my crafting table. I've got just so much random stuff. I mean, this is typical me, right? Typical me at this point. But okay, combining the barrels and the redstone gives you a sophisticated barrel, which you can then upgrade with some iron. So we're going to go ahead and upgrade some of these already. And then we can lay these out. And each of these iron barrels now has the storage space of a double chest. So what you can do with these is, say these barrels were for your valuables, Let's grab all of our redstone here. We can pick a barrel, put the redstone in. We can go to these settings on the side and we can make it remember that redstone goes in here. And we can also set a display item that makes it show the redstone on the front. So it gets rendered on the front of the barrel. And even if we take our redstone out, it still remembers that it's supposed to be there. So there's a lot of cool things you can do with this. And I love that it personally like renders on the outside. It's really, really awesome. It helps so that you're not like looking through all your chests like all messy. You can kind of just look at the outside of the barrel and see what you can expect to find in there. And so let's say this one's going to be copper and we'll hit that display. And oh, I forgot to hit the memory settings. Sometimes I forget to hit all the buttons. But there we go. And let's get out our diamonds and all of that extra stuff. So let's go ahead and put gold in this one and we'll do our memory and our item display. And then we'll do diamonds in this one. And we'll do our memory and our item display. And that way we can display all the different items that we are storing. So we don't have to do any signs anymore if we don't want to. Obviously in your own world, that will be up to you if you want to use signs or item frames or not. But I feel like I really, really like this once you start to have the materials to make this. I don't know if anyone's also playing on the same seed and playing kind of like alongside me, but let me know if you guys are, if you have made a storage system like this before, or what else you have built in this world. The other good thing about this is that you don't have to just store one item in here. If I wanted to also store other iron bits like raw iron or like an iron block or iron nuggets, that's also completely possible. So our iron block's in there. Let's grab an iron nugget. Then we'll put that in, and not only can we display all of those, but it can also remember all of those items as well. So we've got our block, and then we've got our ingot and the nugget there, but it can have up to 4 things displayed on the front. I personally am just going to leave it to the ingot because I feel like that looks a little bit better. So if you right click over here, you can remove stuff from being displayed. But yeah, that's just how I personally like to do it because I feel like it looks a little bit more clean. But obviously, if you are having a couple of different items in a chest and you want to display them all, you absolutely can. But yeah, that's kind of the basic idea of how I want to set all of this up. Obviously, we still have to go through here and add all of our coal and all these other items into here as well. But the majority of the sorting and stuff I will probably do in an off-camera segment this episode because I mean, as much fun as it is watching me, you know, put items in chests, it's not that entertaining. But yeah, this is also kind of why I wanted to put an iron farm going here because I wanted a lot of these to be upgraded into this iron tier, which is going to be expensive because it costs 8 iron per barrel. And if we don't get all of them upgraded right away, that is completely fine. That is something that we can do over time. But since we put this up, we've got 51 iron over here, and that will help us upgrade a couple more of these. And also, as I mentioned last time, all of this stuff comes from the sophisticated storage mod, which is one of the best kind of, you know, early game to mid game kind of storages you can get without like a digital storage system. It's really, really such a great mod. And if you're not into all like those tech mods, but you want kind of an upgradable storage that you can do a lot with, this is a really good alternative to like, you know, doing all those power mods and all that kind of stuff with all of like the digital systems. In my opinion, it's also very, very super beginner friendly. So if you don't have such a deep understanding of like everything that goes on in modded, it's pretty intuitive and there's so much that you can do with it. Like you can even make this upgrade that will auto compact stuff like melons in a melon farm or iron to iron blocks. But yeah, that's kind of how I'm going to set all of this up today. We're going to do the whole room like this. And then in the middle, don't worry, we have a very special decoration that's going to be going in the middle. I actually just thought of it right now, but I think actually it would be kind of cool if we made like a little sunflower rug or something in the middle here. But that won't be the only thing that's going in the middle. We'll also be putting something else there, which I will reveal later. But yeah, that's basically my idea. So let's go ahead and get some more of this filled out. We're going to be placing down just the regular barrels for now because like I said, we can always upgrade them into iron barrels later, but I don't have that much iron left. I've got a little bit, but I kind of want to keep that just in case, you know? But what we can do actually is go over to this crafting table and we will take 8 of these and make 1 more iron barrel so we can kind of finish off this front tier, or this front pod, I should say. And now all of these ones will be upgraded and the rest of them we can just upgrade when we get the materials or have the need, because we probably won't need to upgrade every single one of these to the highest tier or to the iron tier. But yeah, definitely for some of these like resources like spruce and stuff, we'll have to upgrade these. But as you guys saw last time, you can upgrade them once they're already placed. There's like a specific like upgrade that you can make that you can right click onto the barrel. But all right, let's go ahead and get all of these barrels placed. I'm going to need some more, not gold, but some more redstone to make some more redstone torches. Okay, looking at this really quick, this does look a little bit strange, so I think I want to bring back this wall by one more block to kind of give it that extra bit of space, that beam that it needs. I feel like it's like sorely missing that. So let's go ahead, we'll get that taken care of really, really quickly. Oh, you know what? Actually, over here, I'm just going to fill that in because we're going to be covering that up anyways with the other blocks. So let's refill in this wall here. Also, sorry that I'm not really talkative right now. I'm just kind of letting my voice rest a little bit. Sometimes I do that in these. If you guys have been watching for a while, you guys know that I have my moments where I don't say much. Is that in the game? Oh, wow. It actually just started raining here in real life too, so I was kind of surprised for a second. I thought that that was definitely in real life, and I was like, wow, it's raining really hard. And then I realized, nope, it's in the game. Okay, and something else we can do over here, if we kind of come towards the middle, that would be 3. This would be 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then there's 3 in the middle. Okay, that's perfect. We can kind of make like a hint of something that will be added on someday, like a doorway or something. Oh, actually, let's go ahead and remove this terracotta in the middle, because this lines up directly with our doorway, so we could kind of mirror the doorway back here, like a doorway into the mountain or something. It would be so perfect if the tunnel I dug was actually behind this, but the tunnel is not. It's somewhere else, and I don't want to re-dig that tunnel. But it's fine. And, you know, since we did that over here, let's also bring this all the way up. We'll strip it all the way up. Yeah, that is cute. I like that. Then we'll add a couple of decorations on here, just like we always do. We kind of like arch our doorways. But now that I see this, that's looking cute. This side though needs a little bit of work. So I need a barrel. And I just need a regular barrel, not a sophisticated barrel here, but we're gonna match this up and kind of contain this really, really nicely, just like the other side. And I guess we didn't really need these stripped warp then, but that's okay. We thought we did initially. And we'll get all of those stripped. I always end up opening a barrel. Always, but now we have a little bit more of a defined entryway, and we have this kind of like mystical door into the mountain kind of idea. And then of course we also have this absolutely kind of massive storage room, which we're going to fill with all of our items, and that is so exciting. I'm very, very happy that we're doing this project today. And as I mentioned earlier, I'm not going to show you guys the exact process of putting every single item that I have currently in the barrels, because that's going to take me forever, but I'm so glad that we have the ability to expand this and have the room that we need instead of what we have in the starter house where we can only add like 5 more chests. So not only is this a big step for us, but it also comes with the upgrades as well, which I haven't even talked about, where we can put like stack upgrades in there where we can hold more than 64 items in a slot. So there's a lot of different possibilities that we are going to be able to play around with in here and elsewhere in this world if we continue to use these barrels. And I'm just very, very excited about all of that. Now, moving into discussion about the ceiling. The ceiling is kind of something that I don't really know what we're going to be doing. I could kind of picture the front facade a little bit, but when it comes to the indoor ceiling, I'm just going to be completely winging it. I'm not going to lie. And I just have a feeling that this is going to require a lot of concentration. So I'm so sorry if you're trying to like follow along with what I'm doing and like learn from what I am doing, because I just genuinely have no idea what I'm doing at any point. And then I start placing blocks and somehow it works out. But before we go over and work on the ceiling, I did say we were going to break out the scaffolding. So we need to go and harvest our bamboo, and we also need to go and get some string. Would also be a nice time to go over to the XP farm / mob farm cottage and see if the blazes and the wither skeletons have been working this whole time. So let's go ahead and take a snooze real quick. Now we're going to pass by our bamboo, but we will get that on the way back. Oh, there's pillagers up there. Ew. But we just gotta take a quick non-free cam look across. It looks so cute. I feel like once we get the flowers and stuff in over there and fix up this like front section, it's gonna look so good over there. And you know, I actually haven't built a hobbit hole in like so long, so I'm actually really happy that I got to build one today. Normally I do my hobbit holes as kind of like a starter type of thing, but I don't know, it just fits the vibe of the storage house. And I feel like we would have really been doing ourselves in this world a disservice if we didn't make one, because I mean, there's just so many beautiful like hills and stuff throughout this whole crater. And it definitely would have been kind of a shame to do like a big like storage mansion, storage factory, something like that. You know what I mean? But this just fits the aesthetic of everything else that we have going on over here. And I'm very, very, very excited about it. Now, just a quick refresher for my memory. We gotta grab our string over here. We're gonna check on our blazes and our wither skeletons. And we're going to also get our bamboo. So let's grab our string first, which we are getting spider eyes now, which is awesome because in case we need those for anything, we'll have them. And we are getting some drops, it seems like. Yeah, there's not a ton of blaze rods in there, but that's okay because this is all passive. So I'm just happy to get anything, to be honest. All right, and now to enjoy the vibes while we go get our bamboo. You know, even without using the horse, this is quite a pleasant walk through where we've made all these pathways. I love that we're no longer struggling like through all the brush like on the other side. When we first went over there, we're jumping up and down and there's leaves everywhere and all sorts of stuff. I love that on this pathway we don't even have to jump. We just get to walk just very, very nicely, and I can't wait till we have that over here as well. We will probably go ahead and do that kind of stuff on stream. We'll do a little bit on here, but we'll do a lot of that connecting stuff on stream just because that's easy work for me to do while I talk to you guys. I don't have to think about it too hard. All right, inventory is a little bit cleaned up. Let's grab all of the bamboo here that we've got. And all of the stalks we will just leave here to regrow. I actually think that they're called shoots. Bamboo shoots are like the bottom of bamboo, right? Stalks are not the right word. I'm so sorry. If I ever do say the wrong word and you guys are like, wait, it's actually this, feel free to tell me. All good. I am essentially just a sponge that wants to continuously learn but struggles to retain at a certain point. Oh my gosh, I just love this so much. I know I've said that so many times. I apologize that I'm kind of repeating myself there. Now it is a little bit dark in here, so I was gonna hang these up, but you know, let's just put them right here on the ground just to keep everything lit up. Now let's go ahead and we're gonna craft up some bamboo. Those trapdoors look cute, or whatever they are. I think those were shutters. But let's grab a couple more because I don't know exactly how much I want, but maybe a little bit over a stack is fine. And let's also get some blocks of bamboo because I need a couple for the backpack still. And let's move this stuff and we'll put those here and get those memory slotted in. I'm also just going to go ahead here and add a bunch of stuff that really kind of doesn't belong in here into this wood backpack, but it kind of does. It's all wood stuff. And we'll put our bamboo in there. Actually, let's put the bamboo in here because I don't know if it's going to stay in here. All right, so let's figure out the ceiling. I am pretty bad at figuring these out normally, but here's what I'm thinking. So what I'm thinking is we bring in the warped into the center here in like a strip. And then maybe have some other stuff on the sides of it, like the spruce. So how would that look if we tried something like that? Let's grab all of this stuff out of our wood backpack now that we put it all away. And we'll grab our saw too. And we're all going to agree not to make fun of me because I haven't used scaffolding in a while. And I don't remember really how to. And every single time I do use scaffolding, I want to cry. So, well, this is going better than anticipated, to be honest. Now I want to just get a couple pieces here on the side so that way we can reach all the way to the like wall, but we don't have to have scaffolding go all the way to the wall. We aren't going to have enough to finish the whole thing, but that's okay. Should I make some more? I don't think so. Okay, we'll just go with this. So from here, let's talk about maybe some shapes. So we're going to need our saw here really quick. I'm going to make a bunch of slabs and I'm probably going to have to make a bunch of other stuff too as we go along here, but I want to get like the basic idea of a shape going before I start deciding any of that stuff. So what I'm going to do is figure out a shape here. I'm going to focus up for just a second, figure this out, and then we can talk about it once I'm sure of what we're going to end up doing. Because right now I think it's just going to be a lot of breaking and replacing while I think about shapes. Okay, just coming back in here to say I'm so sorry if you guys are like watching this and you guys are good at this kind of like spatial allocation. I'm kind of struggling with it a little bit. I like this little pop of blue, but then I also think that maybe it's just better if it's special and the blue is only in the middle. I don't really 100% know, but I'm just trying to figure out everything. I'm still not 100% convinced. I do think I prefer it this way, looking a little bit more consistent. And then maybe we can do some slabs here and kind of cap and round that off kind of nicely. But yeah, right now I'm kind of the opinion that I'm not going to know if I really like this until I see it on like a whole section. Or I'm not going to know how to fix it until I see it on like a whole section. So right now I'm just trying to figure out what we're going to do. So forgive me for, you know, being so quiet as well. I just, sometimes I just focus better when I don't have to think about what I'm saying. I think what I'm having is that feeling that I kind of described in the last long play where I don't really know what I'm doing, so I feel out of place. And I don't want to keep feeling like the roof is messed up or the ceiling is messed up and changing it, but I also don't want to live with it if it's ugly. So I'm really trying to get better at not caring about being seen making mistakes. I don't know why that was such a big thing for me or still is such a big thing for me. So yeah, let me get this all in and then we'll talk about what needs to change afterwards. If something has to change. It's also very possible that we end up liking this and nothing has to change. All right, coming back in, there's a little bit of a section filled in now, and I think I do like this. My only concern at this time is how are we going to hang the lanterns, because those are upper slabs, so they will not hang in the center. But we can figure that out over time. The other thing that I see with this is that this trapdoor line could have a little bit more movement. Or depth, I should say, not movement, but depth. If we just bring it down to line up with the bottom of the slab here, or the top of the slab, I should say. Maybe we could try to play around with these slabs as well and see where we can put those to make this work. But honestly, I'm not sure how we're going to be able to do that. I think it'll look weird next to the trapdoors if it's not like this. Although I will say I do like the trapdoors better that way, so I'm going to fix it on this side too. And then I guess we'll just worry about lighting at the end. Or maybe if something pops into our heads, we can work on that. I really, really like my lighting to be kind of centered in a room, so I don't really love the idea of hanging it from either side of the center. Because I also don't really see any other way that I can hang it. Like, I don't want to hang it over here. I feel like that is going to look a little bit weird. And I don't know. Yeah, I think we're just going to wait and do that at the very end. And let's just continue on with how this is all going to turn out. And then we'll figure it out, any adjustments that we have to make at the very end. So yeah, let's go ahead and we'll get this all built in. Okay, coming back in to take a look at what this looks like with you guys. I think this warped strip down the center was the right move. Now, I do want to get this stone because it's bothering me. There we go. But I do think that this warped center down, or the warped strip down the center was definitely the right move. I've been thinking about our lighting situation, and I was wondering, what if we replace that top middle slab with a trapdoor? Now, if we place this here, It'll make this a little bit less round, but I feel like then we'll be able to put the lighting there. I can't remember what the trapdoors in the Mizuno's pack look like for the warped. It's not that different, honestly, but hopefully it'll still be different enough to look interesting because it is going to get a lot flatter. Oh my gosh, and if I could just place the scaffolding correctly. I shouldn't have broken all this. I should have left it. All right, let's go ahead. We're going to try this. And again, this does look a little bit flatter. At least it's different kind of direction than the slabs are. And let's make sure that we also grab all of these slabs because I probably will run out since, you know, I didn't make a million bajillion of them earlier on accident. And let's get all of these replaced with our trapdoors. Okay, like I said, that does unfortunately flatten that out. But I do believe now we can place our lanterns right under there. Yeah, and I feel like once we get the rope that we used in the previous builds, that'll look really, really good. I just really like in these kinds of builds and these like long halls to have my lighting kind of in the center of the room. I don't know why, that's just what I prefer. Okay, let's go ahead and grab that rope that I was talking about from the starter house. And I'm so sorry, by the way, for the state of my backpack. It always gets this way once I'm building, but this is particularly bad. But I do believe that what we're doing today should make it a little bit more easy for me to drop off some loot and organize my stuff. So that is going to help get rid of Frogcrafting backpack syndrome. And once we get the lanterns in the room, I'm going to also probably take a little break and do a jump cut into the future. Because as I've already mentioned, I am going to be, you know, organizing and sorting all of my items over there. And I don't want you guys to have to watch me like move all this stuff over. I do feel like moving all of this is going to be pretty boring. Although I do know that there are folks out there that do like to watch people organize. But trust me, there's going to be nothing comforting, relaxing, or entertaining about me blasting Taylor Swift and singing at the top of my lungs poorly and off key. I do know that you guys are here for the yapping. Definitely not the poor singing though. Although I really wish that I could sing and I've wanted to take classes to learn how to sing, but I don't know. I feel like I always hold myself back from things and I should probably start trying new things more often. Alrighty, so where are we going to put these? Maybe at the pillars? And then we'll put the lamp hanging from it. Oh yeah, I like that. Then that one's at a pillar, and this one's at a pillar. Yeah, that's cute. And let's get rid of these. That one over there can stay decoratively. And then I think over here we can just add maybe some like shelving and stuff. Maybe we can add another one up there. That way those are a little bit more decorative, and then the ones in the center are a little bit more consistent for the lighting. I really like how this is coming out so far. I love the beams over here, and actually I'm just noticing back there is a beam that doesn't have any decorations on it. This one at the end here that we added, this one also counts as a beam, so this also gets a little bit of decoration. Okay, there we go. That is all taken care of. But now that we have our lighting in here, I think I'm going to spend some time and get all of my items moved over. So the next time you guys see me, this room should be absolutely full of items and hopefully it doesn't expand too much. Because I am running out of terracotta blocks to use. But yeah, I will see you guys in a little bit. Wish me luck with organizing. A smooth jump cut for you guys, and a few hours later for me, my items have been moved over and organized into the new storage room. Or should I say storage hobbit hole? Storage room, storage hobbit hole, all the same thing. But as you can see in here, I did have to mine out another section because once I got all of like my main blocks in, I realized I had no space for anything like mob loot or flowers. And then over on the other side, we had even other stuff like snow and wool. So yeah, I ended up having to dig out another section, and this should be good enough for probably the end of the series now, I think. The rest of this is still pretty bare bones and not very decorated, but I am still getting settled, so cut me some slack. We will be doing that together, but before we do that, since everything has been moved over, I want to set up a system where we can look at all of our items at once with a storage controller. So we're going to make some items that we can connect up all these barrels, and then we'll be able to see them here in the middle with a terminal. And we can use that to craft. We can see how many items we have. We can put stuff away in there. It's going to be really, really nice. It's going to take a couple of different items from a couple of different mods that we've got to combine together, but it's not that bad. I promise it's not that overwhelming, even though it does sound a little bit overwhelming. So the first thing we're going to do here is we're going to go into our EMI and search for @sophisticated for sophisticated storage. And we're going to be looking for a couple of items here. The first of which is a storage tool, which is right here. And we can craft this pretty easily with a redstone torch, an ender pearl, and some iron. And luckily for me, we do have all of these things already. So we'll grab our iron. We've got some redstone torches already, but actually I'm going to grab all of those. And we've got some ender pearls down here. And this is why I wanted ender pearls so badly, because they are kind of important. And then the last thing we need is some sticks, which we're going to just grab some extra wood over here that we can craft up some sticks really fast. And we can go over to our crafting table over here and we can craft up our storage tool. And this tool is going to be very, very important. It's necessary for so many things. So if you crouch and scroll wheel, you can see that you're going to be changing above your hotbar kind of the mode of the tool. So you can link it to the controller, you can lock the chest, you can show the amounts of the chest, and as you can see here, this is on locking, and we've got little locks coming up at the top now. I prefer to play with my storage system locked because I don't want these random items going into the chest, and once the system's all put up, if your chests aren't locked, it can technically, like, anything can go in the chest, so I personally like my chests to be very specific, but if you just want to do like a bunch of big chests and leave them all unlocked so all of your items can go wherever, that's also completely fine. But let me just go ahead and lock all of these. You can also mass lock the chest. Once we link it to the controller, you can right click with the lock mode on and then it would lock everything that's linked, but obviously we're doing it a little bit differently. And these ones I'm going to leave unlocked except for this one because those are going to be overflow, so anything that doesn't have a place in the system will be able to go in there. The main thing that I really worry about is the locking and the linking and unlinking from the controller. So the next thing that we're going to do is go and find the storage controller recipe. What is that? Decoration table? I don't know what that means. I've never seen that before. Maybe something to play with later, but let's see. Storage output, storage input, IO, storage controller. There we go. So we need to make all of the items here for our storage controller, which is some stone, some comparators. That does require some quartz, but that should be pretty easy for us. And then what else did we have? I'm trying to find how to go back. Some planks, some... Oh, okay, a barrel as well. So we have a couple of extra of those. So this is a pretty easy craft. So what this controller does is it controls, as it says, all the inventories. But what's important for us is that it links to them and it can see them. So we have a one block solution that can kind of see everything that we have, all of the items that we have, and all the places where they're supposed to go. And we can put items into it, like if it has a place in the system already. I gotta make a couple of comparators here. But yeah, so we're gonna be able to use a different mod to link to the controller that's gonna show us all of the items in a different way. Oh, we only needed 2 of those. I thought we needed 4. Anyways, that's fine. We'll probably use them for other things. But here is our controller, and if we just put this down kind of in the middle here, this is sort of the middle of the room, but then we can take our storage tool and right click it there. So now everything will be linked to this block right here, and as you can see, it's kind of outlined there. But to actually link the barrels, we actually need to go over to them and right click every single barrel that we want to link to the storage controller. And you're going to see these kind of lines. They look a little chaotic, but don't worry, once you take the tool out of your hand, then you don't see them anymore. I do find this a little bit visually overstimulating, I won't lie, but it's just going to be for a short while because we won't really have to deal with that much longer is what I'm trying to say. I do apologize if this is eye straining for anyone. It is a little bit for me, but it should be over very, very soon. I just got to link all these up very, very quickly. And these empty ones I am going to link, but I'm not sure if they're going to work. I will explain that in a minute. But now that all of these are linked, you can kind of see here as we look at it, these are all the items that are linked up into our controller. The controller can see all of those items that are in all of those barrels, but we can't actually do anything with them. We can't take them out of there or anything. So we need to use another mod so we can actually take the items out and interact with them. And for this, we're going to be using Tom's Simple Storage, and we're going to need an inventory connector, which is a redstone comparator and some more ender pearls and stuff. And we're going to need a crafting terminal, which needs a regular terminal, which also needs some more comparators and all of that. So let's get this all crafted up. Oh, that is not the redstone torch. That was an iron. I am so silly. And we needed a couple of diamonds. Sorry, I kind of lost my train of thought there for a second. Oop, no, I don't want to interact with that. I thought that we already had the terminal, but we don't. So we're going to make our connector first. And this is going to allow us to connect the touching inventories into one. So this is really, really important for being able to see the storage controller. So let's grab it and we'll place it right next to it. And now this can see everything that's in this storage controller because they're touching. And next up, we are going to need a storage terminal. That way we can see all of those other items. Oh, I need glowstone and glass. Sorry, I completely forgot to get those earlier. I feel like after putting all these items away, my mind is a little bit numb. I love the idea of organizing, but sometimes it like takes up so much brain energy for me. Plus, not to mention that bringing all that stuff over just took forever. But here we go, storage terminal. We're going to upgrade that to the crafting terminal. Otherwise, we can't craft with it. So let me grab a couple of crafting tables here. We need 4 of them. And there we go. We've got a crafting terminal, but we're also going to need some inventory cables. So we need to grab some trapdoors, which I do believe I have a bunch of spruce ones over here. And we'll get those inventory cables crafted up. And now with these, we can connect our 2 different systems over here. And I have some stone as well to help us because we're going to have to place the terminal in a weird way. Oh, but we also need this inventory cable connector. We also need this. So let me get this crafted as well. I don't know why this thing is necessary to connect to the terminal, but it just is. So don't forget to craft this as well. Also, this thing is a little bit of a pain to place, so I like to bring some blocks with me because it places whichever way that you face it, but it places it facing that direction. So if we wanted to face the door, we're going to have to extend these blocks out and then place it this way. And now it'll be facing the door, and we can go ahead and we're going to move that because that looks a little bit weird. It looks messy. And we'll move that back. And we're going to connect this up with our inventory cables. And so we can get the cable going there. And then is this going in the same spot? I don't know if I like it there. Yeah, I think I'm going to move it back another block. I'm so silly. Yeah, right there is perfect. And we'll remove these other blocks. And then don't forget to place down your crafting terminal on the front of that face. And now inside of here, we can see all of our items. So this is currently everything that we have in our barrels, and it sorts them by the max amount at the top, but you can also search them by item name or mod. For me, I tend to keep it as the high number of items is how I sort it by, but if we come over here, we can go to standard search and we're going to just click through here to find EMI sync search. That'll mean once we search with EMI, it'll sync it, or it should sync it. I don't know why that didn't sync. Is it this auto search? No. Is it search keep? I don't know. Wait, hold on. I don't know why this isn't working because this works in my other world. So this is kind of embarrassing. What am I doing wrong here? Do I maybe have to use this? Ah, there we go. Okay, so you have to use the search bar in the top of the crafting terminal, and then it will also sync with EMI. So why this is important to have on is that if we get rid of this spruce and we see all of our recipes over here, if we search for a specific item, we can just kind of immediately find that item and find the recipe for it. And again, that is over here. That is EMI synced standard search keep. So let's say that I wanted to craft an item that I don't already have in the system. Like, I think I don't have any oak lattice in the system. Yeah, okay. So here we can find the recipe for it. And to move it into our crafting table, we can press this plus, but I don't have the ingredients to craft, and I think I'm probably missing sticks. It's always sticks that I'm missing, and I don't think I have a sticks chest, or a sticks barrel, I should say, so I should probably add one because they are quite important for crafting. All right, and now that those are displayed and everything, let's just make sure that this is going to work, and it does. Awesome. Okay, let's do that again. We'll just do it a little bit more slowly. We'll slow it down. Once we want to go ahead and craft our item and we have all the items in our system or in our inventory, because we did turn on this pull missing items from player inventory when crafting, we can go ahead and click on our oak lattice or whatever item it is and then hit the fill recipe button. That way you don't have to memorize the recipe and it'll bring it over to your crafting table where you can then just craft it. And now we have our oak lattice here and we can just use that wherever we want. Of course, we're not going to put it right here, but we will put it away in our oak chest because we can just put a space for it. I've still got to go through and organize all of those. So, you know, ignore the mess. But yeah, that is the basics on how to set up one of these systems and how to use it. I'm so pleased that we'll have kind of an easy crafting solution for the rest of our playthrough. I mean, it's not the most aesthetic because it's kind of in the middle of everything. I don't know if I'll end up moving this or not. I also am trying to keep this somewhat centered in the room because the controller, I believe, only has a 15 block range that it works. I might be thinking of another mod, but I'm pretty sure it only has a couple of blocks of range, which you can probably edit in the config as well. So if you guys do use this mod and you have like a big storage room and you're like, why won't this link? Maybe it is out of the range. And you can also make these like controller access points as well, which can help like increase your range. I don't know too much more about it, but hopefully we don't have to go much further, like dig out any of that back wall or anything, because we should be good. But yeah, now if an item has a place, like this iron over here has a place instead of the poppies, we can just go ahead and drop those right into the system, and then they show up in the barrel. And this is going to make delooting so much easier for me. But I do want to test, can these inventory cables go in here? But it doesn't look like it. They don't have a home because they don't have a barrel, but these are unlocked, so they should technically accept items. I don't know why they don't. If anyone in the comments does know how to fix that or how to make the unlocked barrels get, you know, items accepted into them, or what I'm doing wrong here, feel free to let me know. But for now, I'm not going to worry too much about that. I am also going to put our storage tool link thing in here because I feel like this is where all my important modded items go, and then everything else we can just put back in the system this way, which is awesome. Like, I just put all that stuff away and only took a few seconds, so this is going to be so helpful for like delooting and decluttering all my backpacks. So officially we can say that this is the end of Frogcrafting Backpack Syndrome. I am genuinely just so happy that we have this right now. I cannot even explain it. Like, it's expandable, it's useful, we can craft with it. Also for stuff that's kind of like a little bit more of a pain to craft, like let's say we wanted to craft some furniture and I don't know any of the recipes for those. So we can go to, nope, this is the wrong mod. I was thinking of another furniture mod. And let's say we wanted to make one of these sofas. So we can make this with white sofa and yellow dye. So we'll make a white sofa and then we can get some sunflowers. And we can turn those into yellow dye. And then those can get crafted into our sofas. And now we have our sofas. We can add our dye over here and make a place for it. But now we have some sofas that we can use to decorate in here. And not only are they cute, but you can also sit on these if you wanted to like look out the window into the valley. We can see our beautiful barn, or we could sit while we were like AFKing for some iron. But the whole process to make that was so simple. I didn't have to remember the recipe. I didn't have to go and find 50 different materials from different chests. It was just so easy. And let me know in the comments what you guys think about this system. Are you going to try it out? Was it worth the effort that we went to and like all the other videos that we made? I think besides getting like the Enderman capture card, I don't think that this was too much. I think it was the perfect amount of effort for how useful it is. I don't know why I walked over here, but we could even make this into like an upgraded system wirelessly. So if you guys didn't know this, you can go and search for Tom's. You can make this into a wireless terminal if you wanted, and you can also make this into an advanced wireless terminal, but that does require netherite and the upgrade template and stuff. And you can also chunk load it and have a beacon, and then it can be like cross-dimensional, and it can work pretty much anywhere in your world, which is absolutely incredible. I have that in my Twitch world, but I don't think that we're going to need that for this playthrough. It's just a little bit much. So yeah, just kind of summing up my thoughts there. I want to go into some decorating because the room is looking a little bit bare, and I realized something the other day. And that is the simple fact that I have not used any flowering azalea leaves in this world yet. And honestly, that should be illegal. I mean, I know placing oak leaves is sort of my personality, but these flowering azalea leaves, especially Mizuno's, are so beautiful. It would be really a shame, I think, not to use any to spice up this space. Because don't get me wrong, the yellow and teal vibes in here are so perfect, but I do also want to get some greenery in here. And actually, let me rearrange this a little bit really quick and move these things so I can put some memory filters on these because I don't want them to get lost in the system. I need to arrange these a little bit. Yeah, there we go. That's better. The rest of them, I don't care where they go as long as they remember that they all can go in here. But yeah, I think we'll take a couple of minutes here and we'll get some leaves going up into the ceiling, make sure that that looks nice and looks right. Because I really love the idea of having some leaves kind of hanging down in this hobbit hole. It doesn't always make sense in a build for that to happen, but I don't really care about what makes sense, to be honest. And I also just want to take a moment to remind everyone to take care of themselves, whether it's self-care, take your meds, you know, drink your water, eat something if you haven't. I cannot remember if I said this before my break to organize, so I'm just gonna, you know, go ahead and say it now. I usually try to remind everyone who's watching to do a little bit of self-care or prioritize yourself and your health. I'm always trying to be a little bit more mindful of taking care of myself, especially as I start to get older and, you know, I've had some health issues, which I try not to talk too much about on my channel. But whether it's a reminder to move your body or take a medication you might have forgot about or to make a snack, whatever that might be for you, here is just a reminder to make sure you are fueling yourself, make sure you're taking care of yourself as best as you possibly can. And yeah, I think I'm liking this, so let's keep it going throughout the storage room. We only have 11 of these left though, so not too much left. But we can take some of our bone meal that we have and take it outside with some azaleas. So it's not the biggest deal in the world to be out of azalea leaves since they are pretty easy to get. Alright, I'm gonna grab some of these regular azaleas here that we have extras of, and then I want to grab some of our bone meal. I'm still learning where everything goes, so don't make fun of me. We could also use the terminal for this, but I'm also kind of trying to remember where everything is. And let's just go ahead, we'll bone meal a couple of these up, and I'm gonna probably focus mostly on getting the flowering leaves because I don't really care about the other leaves as much. You know, I was thinking here, even though we upgraded our storage system, I'm still going to carry around some of our backpacks with like the extra dirt and all that other stuff, just to make our crafting and stuff around the whole flower forest a little bit easier. I hope with a combined kind of idea about the storage room and the backpacks that everything going forward will just be very smooth. I'll always have some items on demand if I need to terraform something or if I need to try to, you know, get some trapdoors. And as far as the rest of this video goes, I want to get the inside of the Hobbit hole decorated. But I also want to do some stuff out here on the outside. We've got a little bit of terrain to clean up out here. We've got to add our sunflower patches and our pathway in front. Oh, and you guys will have to let me know what you think when it's fully done about my comparison of my previous Hobbit hole to this one. Because I feel so far that I've kind of stayed a little bit true to the vibe of the build that I showed in the picture. But it's also kind of upgraded and a little bit more like modern Frogcrafting vibes. I hope everyone knows what I'm trying to say with that. But I do think that this is probably going to be enough leaves for the rest of the storage room. We will have to get some more for later projects at some point. I also hope that my explanation of the storage room was not confusing. I know that these aren't like really tutorial videos. It's kind of just like, you know, long Let's Play videos. But I hope that it was helpful somewhat to you guys. But let's go ahead and get the rest of this storage room all decorated up. That way we can also focus on the outside and finish up this long play. I don't think we're going to be over in the next 5 minutes. Don't worry about that. But I definitely think that we are getting towards the end here. And why can't I place this right here? What am I doing wrong? Oh, I was trying to place that like the azalea bush and not the azalea leaves. Oh my gosh, what is wrong with me? But all right, I'm going to lock in for a minute. I'm going to be quiet and just kind of vibe because that was a lot of explanation. And I'm going to do some decorating. So enjoy the vibes. I don't necessarily know what painting that I'm going for when I'm placing these. I just know that when I see the one that I like, then it's not that one. Oh my gosh, why is it always this one? That is so cursed. And I like cursed things, don't get me wrong, but that one I just don't know if I want. I do like that lizard guy though, but I feel like there's a sunflower painting that is the one that I'm looking for this. Am I misremembering that there's a sunflower painting? Because I haven't seen it yet, and I feel like I've seen every other painting like 5 times. I really thought that there was one, but maybe it's a 2x2? I thought it was a 1x2. Oh, yeah, there it goes. Okay, perfect. That is the painting that I was thinking of. I thought that that was a 1x2, but apparently it was a 2x2. No. Oh, I do like that worm. I really like the worm because I feel like it gives like, would you still love me if I was a worm? But I do want to move it down one here. So there we go. Now I don't want to clutter this storage room up too much, but there are a couple of other little things here that I do want to add. So I'm going to take a couple of chests here and just like slap them around in random spots just for some extra. And I sort of love the idea of having a couple of chests just placed out in the open decoratively for a storage room because like they're already everywhere, so it's kind of silly. This oil lantern might be interesting. I don't know what these look like. So let's just, I guess, place it. That is cool, but I don't know if it's the vibe. Maybe we can find another place to use that because I do like it. When you hold it, it is kind of funny. It's kind of funny looking. But we will grab a dark oak lantern because I do want to have some light on the back wall. I've decided I like that a little bit. I also want to get some carpet in here on the ground, but I don't have the colors from the sheep that I want. So I'm going to grab this yellow. And I'm going to also need to grab some iron for some shears. We'll just take this really quick. And I also am going to need some cocoa beans, but we have those, you know, growing over in the, by the starter house. But before we leave, let's go ahead and just sleep away the night because I don't want to fight any mobs while I'm trying to shear my sheep. And we will not forget to grab our pink sleeping bag and we'll eat some steak and then we will be off on an adventure. Well, it's not really an adventure if it's within your base, I guess. What is going on with the horse? Why is the horse in the lake? Did you decide to have a bath, buddy? What are you doing down there? You cannot be on the lead in the lake. I'm sorry, but that's just not a place for horsies. Let me grab our lead here and then we will get you safely up onto the land. Alright, come on, buddy. We'll take you back over to the stable since you cannot be trusted over here by yourself. So, I need to get that honey. That's one thing. Oops, don't want to forget to grab our cocoa beans because we also are going to need some brown dye as well. And this will be probably more than enough, but I do want to replant. And we will drop off our unnamed horse, which I have not forgotten about this time, I promise, into the stables here. But we will come back with a name for them a little bit later on. I just want to focus on getting all this fixed up, and then we will do it at the end of the episode. Let's go ahead and dye a couple of these sheep. I don't necessarily need a ton of yellow wool, but I'm going to need a lot of brown. At least I don't think I'm going to need a ton of yellow. Watch, I'm going to say that and then I'm going to have to dye a bunch of wool or something later on. Okay, we will leave it there for now and come back in a moment just because it's a little bit loud and overstimulating over there with all the sheep and the cows. Walking past it, it definitely looks a little bit plain. We definitely need to get some focus out there, which definitely I plan to do. I want to get like a little chimney over there and all of the flowers like I mentioned. And also on the inside, I was also thinking that we could add a couple of like hanging flower pots from the ceiling. I just want something a little bit aesthetic. If we had any spore blossoms, I would definitely use those, but I have not found a lush cave in this world yet. And now that I'm aware of that, I feel like in between episodes, I'm gonna have to go find a lush cave. That was the wrong chest. So I'm going to grab some rope here because I want to make those hanging pots like I mentioned. And we can also grab some bricks. Although we can actually leave those in there because we can use our system now to craft up our flower pots. So if we just search for our bricks, we can use it like this. And I don't even have to take any items out of my barrels to do that. I will probably still grab stuff out of the barrels from time to time because I'm getting used to the new setup. So just have some patience with me while we go through all of this. And let me grab some flowers here that we're going to hang up in here. And what we're going to do is we're going to find where can we hang these. So can it go there? No, that is not touching. So it can go here though. And that is probably too close to that other flower pot, but maybe over here would be fine. I feel like that would be okay. And now we get to put in one of these flowers that we grabbed. And that is cute. Let's get a couple more of these hung up throughout this room. Okay, just taking a step back here, I really like this. I love that we have so much stuff kind of hanging from the ceiling, adding to the ambiance and the vibe of the room. So one other thing that I did want to do before we call this kind of interior done is that I wanted to make some kind of like sunflower carpet. This is the idea that I had earlier. And we're definitely going to need to get more wool for this because this is not a lot that we have. Especially if you want to add a little bit of variation in your heights of your carpet so it looks a little bit more interesting. Like you have the carpet next to a block that's actually in the ground. I feel like that always adds a little bit of visual interest into your carpet, which I personally love. And then we can kind of start to come in here with the yellow. Now the yellow is obviously the one that we are completely out of already. I thought that we were going to need a lot more brown than yellow, but I think it was the other way around. But you kind of get the idea, right? I want it to be like a little sunflower rug, and it's a little bit weird because it can't be perfectly centered because it's a too wide thing, but I've got some sunflowers in my backpack that we can convert into some dye, and then I do believe I have some white wool over here that we can dye into our yellow wool so we don't have to go back over to the sheeps. Yeah, let's just get this shape looking good and then we can always go back and kind of edit it a little bit as we want to later. I opened my map, but obviously it could not see on the inside. I thought it would see on the inside for some reason. I don't know why I thought that. It is looking a little bit awkward, and I think that's just because it's missing some of that like texturing or that like variation that I was talking about. So we do need to make a little bit of extra wool here, or yellow wool, I should say. Oh, there comes the rain again. It is so loud. It has rained so much in this video. And it's not even just rain, it is a lightning storm, of course. Okay, I think that might be a little bit better. And even if it's not perfect, it's still kind of just like a silly little accent that I feel like really goes with the idea of this hobbit hole. I really like that. Now it is thunderstorming, so I do want to go ahead and sleep really quick before our villagers get struck by lightning and turn into witches, because that is my luck. That would happen to me. Let's not forget to grab our sleeping bag because we will probably need it again before the end of the video. And let's go ahead over here and we're going to put away our carpets. The rest of this we can put away with the system except for the other carpet. I forgot that we had a brown one still. It's not letting me put in my dirt, but I know I have a dirt chest, but okay, that's because it is full. So we can go ahead and take one of these upgrades and make this into a spruce iron barrel now, and then it can go in there. And we also need to put a place for our brown dye. And then I think what we're going to continue to do is just clean up some of my inventory here really quick because we've got some stuff to put in this backpack. Now, unlike in vanilla Minecraft, to plant sunflowers in this mod pack, we actually need to go into our backpack and grab our sunflower seeds. So there is a mod called Create Bitball in this mod pack, and this is from, it's like basically kind of a meme add-on for Create that lets you make Dutch snacks. And it kind of changes the way that sunflowers work a little bit. So you have to have the seeds to plant the sunflowers down on the ground. Now, if you guys didn't know, I play the same mod pack over on Twitch. This is actually where this mod pack came from, was just when I started modding my long-term world over on Twitch. But I was like, we have to have the mod that adds all of the Dutch snacks like bitterballen and all that stuff in here. Like, we have to have that. It just makes sense since I moved here, right? And it's just going to cost us a little bit of bone meal that we wouldn't have normally used, but I think that's okay. But yeah, let's go ahead. We're going to get some more dirt, maybe expand this a little bit and kind of fix this up. We've got a lot left to do, and I don't want this video to be like 7 hours long, so we better get a move on. I actually wouldn't mind if I made a video that was 7 hours long, just like generically 7 hours long, but I don't think I could yap for 7 hours straight. But also, I just want to say that I appreciate you guys so much for, you know, if I take like a little talking break in the middle of these, that you guys aren't like yelling at me in the comments. Because I know not everyone in my audience likes regular long plays, kind of like without the commentary. So when I do need to take a little break and kind of disengage from the chatty stuff for a minute, I just really appreciate that you guys let me do that. Ironically, I normally do disengage a little bit more while I'm doing this kind of stuff, just because I feel like I don't really know what to say at this point in any single long play that I make. Because I already yapped about like everything new that's going on with me, because there's not really a lot that ever goes on with me. I'm just kind of like a very boring person. Oh yeah, there's a zombie villager down here that we're going to have to cure up at some point. But I think over here I'm going to leave this a little bit mysterious looking, kind of have like a little tunnel opening there. Don't really know if I love that, but I kind of like it right now, so we'll just go with it. I am actually so thankful that I dug that tunnel though, because if we want to bring any more animals back to the valley, we don't have to go through the powdered snow anymore. Because on a live stream, I did see like a bunch of turkeys and other kinds of animals out in the woods, so it would be nice to bring some of those back and not have to go like over the powdered snow and just go through the tunnel. Where are my shears? I put them away once again, of course. I keep putting the shears away when I don't need to, and I need to stop putting them away when I need them. And I don't know how to make my brain believe that I will need the shears in a minute. Even if I don't need them right now, they can stay in my inventory. I don't know how to make my brain learn that. Okay, now up here, let's go ahead and grab some of our seeds really quick. And this is just how easy it is to get a sunflower. So a little bit of an extra step with the bone meal, but it's still pretty easy. You know, before I get too much over here, let's figure out where our pathway is going to come from and kind of lead to. And of course we'll put the pathway in later, but I do like to make a little bit of a kind of outline for myself before I actually put in all the special pathway blocks. This is looking a little bit awkward, I think. But I can't figure out why it looks awkward. So maybe this will be better if I kind of remove some of that. Now, I don't know if these will grow on their own without bone mealing them. It does have like a growth thing at the top on Jade there, but I am going to just make sure that I bone meal these up for the final reveal. But I don't know how to get more sunflower seeds because I don't think you can get them from these without breaking them, and well, you can't craft them either. So let's see, milling, crushing, no. What about mixing? Oh, mixing. Okay, from mixing you can get more seeds. That's kind of good to know because if we do set up some create stuff here, we can always mix some more if we need to. I unfortunately did not know that before I started this, and I had to go all the way over here to this big island while I was looking for terracotta for a future build. But I had to go all the way over here to find that, and I found this big sunflower plains over here where I grabbed a bunch of sunflower seeds because like those are our away from home sunflowers, you know. But yeah, I did a lot of exploring in between episodes because I was looking for a mesa to get some yellow terracotta and just regular terracotta as well, but I wanted to use the yellow terracotta to make a beekeeper's cottage. But now that we've used it for the Hobbit hole, I don't know if I will still want to use it. I mean, the option will always be there. But all right, let's get the rest of this pathway kind of detailed up before we go up onto the top of the Hobbit hole, and then we're going to work on like a little chimney and all that stuff. But maybe not this one right here. Maybe in front of the door we leave that one not, you know, all lit up. Okay, let's hop on up here really quick because I want to get some of these sunflowers kind of, you know, not posed, but planted is the word I was looking for. Planted around on the top here so that they look very, very aesthetic. Also sort of like they kind of grew out of control, like many years. No one has really kind of kept this garden or kind of let it do its own thing while keeping it. Oh my gosh, this is so cute. Hold on, I want to take a quick look in free cam. Let's go in so we don't get, you know, hurt by any mobs. Oh my gosh, this is so sunny and happy. I love it so much. It looks like a hug as like a hobbit hole. I don't know if that makes sense to anyone. Now looking at this down here, we still need to do some work because it's looking a little bit awkward and we can absolutely fix that up. But if I just go and zoom in here a little bit, sorry for you guys seeing that, but that is so cute. But yeah, a little bit zoomed in here, you can see that that needs to be smoothed more. But besides that looking a little bit awkward, I don't hate it. I actually think this is really cute. It's like the perfect little pop of color over here. And if we come back all the way over here, it just brings a lot of warmth and color over to that side of the valley. And if we look over here on the map, well, you can't really see it. You just see a little bit of that pathway. But once this is all filled in, that's going to look so good. Oh, we are still zoomed in. Let me fix that really quick because that is very awful to look at. I also think we just have one or two too many lights over here, which is very weird to say out loud. But maybe this one we can kind of get rid of. And maybe one more over here because we don't quite need all of these. And we'll plant a couple more sunflowers in here just to get more of that sunflowery goodness. No, I just want to get this one. Oh my gosh, okay, that was a little bit embarrassing. Gonna need to get some more bone meal. Just taking a look at my inventory really quick here. What do I still need to get? Because I still think I need a campfire, which we don't have. So we can go ahead and craft one of these really quick. And then I want to get some trapdoors to go along with that. But of course, we're going to need to craft some because we never have enough. Now, thinking about what do I want to use for our campfire? Maybe some granite just to like match the floor down in here. And I want this to be a little bit whimsical, so we're going to put some of this granite in the stone cutter and we're going to grab some stairs. And then we can reorganize our inventory really quick and then we're going to go up onto the top and put in our chimney. Taking a quick pop into free cam, I think it's going to look the best if we put this on the left side. Because this is also the side we have our furnaces on, so I feel like it'll make sense if we kind of put it over here. Wow, that sunlight hitting this as well is so pretty. And what I want to do here is just build up kind of like a whimsical, like very fantasy, not realistic chimney. So we're just gonna kind of build this up a little bit. And then you guys know my trick, so we're gonna put the trapdoors around this block up here. And then we're going to remove the block and put the campfire right where the block was. That way we don't burn our feet. And water bucket clutch. And before we go ahead and look at this in our free cam view, let's just get a little bit of lushness going up here with some of this grass and the tall grass. But we're going to remove any of the flowers that come up. I don't want too much tall grass up here. I don't mind a little bit though, because obviously this is probably a little bit of a less visited area of the flower forest. No one's really up here kind of like, you know, clipping all of that. Whoops. Whoops. Oh my goodness. But no one's up here clipping all of the grass. And let's also go ahead and dress up our chimney a little bit. I love to like wrap some leaves around a chimney, especially one with so much whimsy and shape to it. Although I am kind of wondering at this point, is this too tall? Okay, first reaction, it's cutie. Second reaction, I was right, and it is a little bit too tall. So let's go ahead, we'll remove some of this, and I've got to hit this with my Silk Touch pickaxe because I don't have Silk Touch on my axe yet. Hopefully I can get like a Silk Touch villager in between episodes or on a stream or so. But yeah, let's go ahead and try to redo this as, you know, keeping the whimsy, keeping like the shaping, but maybe just like a little bit of a different scale. What about that? Is that too high still? Yeah, that also feels a little bit too high. Okay, what if we just remove this and then put this right on top of here? Is that going to be too silly? See, and this is why we do the trick. This is why we do the trapdoor trick. And I forgot to. I got burned toes from that. Alright, let's look at this now. That also looks weird. Wait, okay, what if we just swap the block order? Like, what if we put one of the stairs here, and then the other stair upside down right here, and then the other block there? Is that better? Is this finally better? Oh, yeah. That's the one right there. That is the perfect height. It's looking so overgrown now with all that grass up here as well. I didn't realize how much that was going to add. I'm actually obsessed with this. I think we just need a little bit of bone meal over here so it doesn't look completely barren compared to the rest of it. And a couple of leaves would not hurt anyone if we added some of those kind of hanging down. Okay, there we go. I think those are all now successfully in. And the last thing we really need to do is work on our pathway here. But before we do that, I've got all my blocks, just making sure. But I want to go in and put all of our stuff away in our new storage system. And here we go. In just a couple seconds, everything that has a place is now officially put away. I am so happy. Also, I want to eat this one random bread that I have because it's in my inventory, but I keep eating my steak by mistake. Keep forgetting about the bread. Now, let me go ahead here and rearrange my inventory a little bit because we are going to need this copper backpack for all of these blocks that we use for our pathway. So all the like the cobbled limestone and all that stuff. We're definitely going to need this shovel, but also maybe the pickaxe. So maybe those two, and then everything else we'll just have to kind of arrange around that. I want to get like one of everything that we've got going on in here. And we're probably going to have to also make some more mossy cobblestone here because it's getting a little bit low. That's why I do have all of these extra kind of materials in here that like I don't use, like the moss and stuff. That way we can just use them whenever we need them. I'm also going to grab this limestone and make this into some polished limestone. And I have stone brick in my backpack, so I'm assuming that I've used it, but I don't remember using it, so I just want to take a quick pop right here. Did we use stone brick? Over here, I don't see any, just the like limestone brick. And over here, also the limestone bricks. Why do I have it in my backpack if I didn't use it anywhere? Like, did I just run out or something? Oh no, definitely over here I used the stone brick. I guess I started using it over on that section, but that's okay. We'll use it on this section as well. So let's go ahead and just grab some out. But oh, this is going to make our hotbar just have one too many things to have two tools. So I guess let's just hope that we don't have to break anything. Otherwise, we'll just have to, you know, swap our tools around. And I'm still one day hoping that we're gonna get a tool belt or something where we can easily swap our tools. I would love that. Or I would also really love a vanilla paxel. I know that that's probably maybe a niche thing, but I would love a pickaxe shovel axe combination. I would use that constantly. But yeah, let's just take the next couple of minutes. I'm going to fill this whole thing in without granite so that way none of it falls down in there. But then the rest of this, I'm just going to fill in really quick. So yeah, I'll talk to you guys at the very end for a final overview and for naming our horse. So yeah, see you in a minute. Okay, pathway is all in. I'm not going to do any more than just this little bit right here because I don't know where the pathway is going to go yet, but it feels so good to walk right on this pathway through here. I am really happy with the outcome of this build. You know, I was a little bit worried when I first started it and I was trying to like kind of remake a build for myself, and I also thought that this was going to take way longer, but the longest part was just moving all my stuff over. But I think all the time and effort that we spent today was really worth it. It looks so good. It's so beautiful to walk through. I feel like it really fits the vibe of this channel, but also the vibe of Faebloom Valley and the flower forest that we're going for. But before we go today, let's go ahead and go clean out our inventory. And we can also kind of get rid of that dirt, rearrange our hotbar a little bit. And you know what? We should also probably sleep just one last time before we head across the lake, because I did not forget that we still need to name our horse, our unnamed horse from the other day. We've got a name tag right here and we've got our anvil upgrade, and I want to name this horse Ophelia. Now, this name is coming because one of my favorite music artists, Taylor Swift, is making a new album and it's coming out this week. I haven't heard it yet because it comes out on Friday, and that is not today, but I want to name our horse Ophelia after one of the songs on the album called The Fate of Ophelia, which I believe is going to be probably a reference to Hamlet. And there's honestly nothing more cottagecore, I feel, than probably Shakespeare's writing. Like, if there was writing that was cottagecore, it would be Shakespeare. So it kind of works on multiple different levels. One, because I like Taylor Swift, and one because I like Shakespeare, and also it kind of fits that ethereal, like fairycore, cottagecore vibe. Honestly, between Shakespeare and Studio Ghibli, I feel like my life has been shaped by whimsy, and that's why I like to play Minecraft with so much whimsy in my worlds, because I feel like it just doesn't feel right to me unless there is some whimsy. So this is just another way to be whimsical and cute. And welcome to our world, Ophelia. Now you're here with a lily pad and the other horses. Now the sun is kind of rising. I really want to see the Hobbit hole once the sun hits it. So we're just going to kind of wait for it for a second. Anytime now. But while we're waiting for that sun to get over there, I just want to say thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you guys had a great time and also maybe learned something about the mods that we're playing with. I know that my videos aren't really tutorials, but I hope that it was still in-depth enough if you are playing along with me that you were still able to set it up as well, or maybe it was helpful to you in some way. No, we missed it. Oh my gosh, I was yapping. We missed it, but it looks beautiful. I love it in the sunlight. But yeah, guys, I am so thrilled with all of the progress that we got done today. I'm so happy with how everything came out, and I hope that you also enjoyed watching as much as I enjoyed filming it. Thanks so much for watching again, and bye-bye.